tryna get it together. Money on my mind. Bitch, I'm on the grind. You a freaky bitch, let me put something together. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na, I can't stop. Oh, na 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 na. I can't stop, no Wi-Fi, baby, I can hit your hot spot. Yeah, we heading to the top, and money ain't a thing, we gon' make that thing drop. Tryna feel when you're mental, baby girl, you're spiritual. Tryna show you all these new things, tryna show you all these diamond rings, tryna take you on a new trip, tryna show you all these new clips, like a movie scene, tryna elevate your mind frame, baby, you ain't fucking with a lane, I can show you to them new things. I'm on my grind, nigga tryna take my shine. Bitches wanna chill, but we can link up later. I'm on my grind, tryna do it right. Been through some shit, tryna get it together. Money on my mind, bitch, I'm on the grind. You a freaky bitch, let me put something together. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na, I can't stop.
My little Bonnie and Clyde, I know baby gon' ride. We get to the bag and never fucked up, but think I'ma try. Take my chance and roll the dice. Pussy looking hella right. I'ma beat it down, fuck around and how you stuck for life. That money keep calling, calling. And we gon' stay ballin', ballin', ballin'. Cause I'm on my grind and we don't waste time. Let's get it together and we gon'
Me bumbo.
no bitches, you know they ain't mine. Has been flooded, bitch, I can't tell time.
Freaky bitch, let me put something together. Oh, na 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 na, oh, na 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 na.
Bomb has been planted.
Try to add some more stuff to the soundboard, man. Yeah, today we don't got the mask on, man. Mask off today. So get on this abortionist, bro. It's abortionist. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna add that one to there. I don't know if that's gonna be annoying or not, but I'll have to use it all the time. Okay, where we at? Remind me later. Hey, where are you, bud? Play it. Play the music. I guess I got rid of it. Shout out to you guys for being here, man.
Dom DeMarco, shit like
We
that.
got
Shit
something
like
crazy
that.
today.
Shit like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's here. It's here. I lost my fucking glasses. Now you guys can track my eyes and shit. I'm gonna be looking all weird. It is what it is, though, man. Fuck it, we do it live. Let's add the little bomb to the fucking let's add the bomb explosion to the stream deck. I don't know if that's gonna be annoying, but let's hear it. Yeah, that's from spin some real shit, man. We got the 7-Up right here, man. 7-Up, zero sugar. You don't get live, man. This bitch was annoying, bro. This whole debate was annoying, but man, I wanted to talk some shit, man. I wanted to do it live, man. Shout out to you guys for tapping in, bro. Straight up. We do it live, man. We do it fucking live. Fucking live. Where the fuck is... Damn. What other soundboard do I need? What else do I need, man? trying to do this before we get into the content, because then it's too late. Y'all already invested. We're already fucking invested, man. That sucks, bro. Fuck it, man. We gonna go through the content, man. If you're here, thank you for being here, man. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you're here, share the fucking video, man. Let's get it out here, man. But we gonna have some good content to get into today.
Towards a culture of marriage.
What the fuck? Did I tell you to talk? No. Yeah, but also this debate has been going on for as long as abortion been legal, bro. So yeah, it's gonna get hectic, bro. But this woman that's debating these Christian women, mostly Christian women, is a fucking annoying, bro. Fucking annoying, bro. I swear to God, she's annoying. All right. And I'm sure you guys seen her. If you watch debates, Jubilee or anything like that, she's on there. She's fucking annoying. I can't do it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I have to get into this content, but without further ado.
Dom DeMarco, shit like that, shit like that, shit like that.
Okay, my first prompt is: a fetus is not a baby and does not deserve full constitutional protections.
I'm Noelle.
I'm Maya.
I'm Shayla.
I'm Yasmin.
Okay, hi ladies. So I chose this prompt mainly because of the kind of equal protections movement that's been going on in pro-life circles. This belief that a fetus is the same as a human that has already been born. I disagree with that, and I don't believe that they deserve full protections under the law.
So I think we need to clarify a little bit. As a pro-lifer, I don't believe that a fetus is valuable because they're a baby. I believe they're valuable because they are an innocent human being. The scientific consensus for when life begins is fertilization. That is what 96% of biologists agree from across 1,000 different academic institutions, is when the beginning of a new, unique human being's life begins. Not just human cells, not just a human life, but a new, unique human being.
So if I could just jump in there is no scientific consensus on when life begins. There is not.
So this is from the National Institute of Health. The scientific consensus is that 96% of biologists agree that a new, unique human being's life begins at fertilization.
I'm sorry, love, that's just not true.
But it is. I just
you see that? She already this doesn't want to accept reality, doesn't care, and most of these abortionists don't care anyways, right? They want to believe what they want to believe, but the underlying this argument is so fucking stupid because we all started off in the womb. We all started off in the belly, right? Then we grew into what we are today. How can they not understand it? It's just a people want to be immoral. It's just that simple, right? And this is kind of, I'm not trying to just delete the argument right here and there. Like right now, I don't want to do rid of the argument right now because it's for content, of course. But honestly, it's just some people just want to be immoral, no matter fucking what. You can give them anything that could prove that child, that baby in the stomach is a baby. It is proof because we all started there. We all started from somewhere, right? But they'll deny to basically justify demonic behavior. So either way, do they fucking care if it's the truth or not? No, they don't care. They just want to justify their madness, okay? Doesn't matter. And these women like this has got the Clancy movement going. Okay, they're demoralized, they're immoral, but they want us to coincide and live in society with these people. Why should we live amongst y'all? Why? You guys don't believe in anything, right? They don't believe in Jesus Christ, they don't believe in God, but they use the Christian ethical society, right? Because mostly, we were birthed by a Christian. This is a Christian nation, right? Our founding fathers were, have Christian ethics. So they utilize that, then use it against us, if that makes sense. Other Christians. It's just fucking stupid to me. But they're lucky that we're so nice that we're allowing them to even argue demonic things. It's just fucking, it's crazy.
The source. Do you have a dispute? When do you believe that a fetus becomes a human?
Well, I don't believe that I can say when a life begins. I don't believe that anyone in this room can say that when a life begins. I think that the only one who can really say when a life begins is God. And though it's not stated, because it's not stated in the Bible, and there is no scientific consensus, we can sit here and argue about something theoretical that none of us know or we can argue what is known. And what is known is that a fetus is not viable until around 23 to 24 weeks. The youngest ever was 20 weeks, but a fetus generally is not viable, meaning it can't survive outside of the womb until.
So what is a fetus if they aren't a human being? Because humans can only create other humans via reproduction.
A fetus
can't
is a
create anything
human
other
because it
than
has
another human
human
being.
cells, but it doesn't deserve.
So if you admit that they're human, shouldn't they be protected? Like, this person's a fucking idiot, bro. If another human is like having sex with another human, right? A man having sex with a woman, right? They produce other humans. If you eliminate that process, you stop the birth. You cause the problem. Okay, because as a man, if I walked up to you and punched you in your fucking stomach, I'm getting charged for murder if you have a baby in your fucking stomach, because I stopped the process. So it's just their how do I say, their morals start with if I want the baby or not. Because if I want it, then it is a baby. If I don't want it, then it's not a baby. See, you see how the fucking mindset is? It's just stupid. They can't hold this argument. You can't hold it anywhere else. It doesn't make any sense other than other people agree with you. Oh, it's legal. So that's all you care about. It's just legal, so I can do it. All right. But these other women on the pro-life side has great arguments to her argument. So
Legal personhood, right? That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about when life begins, because we can all have different definitions of that, and no one knows for sure. What we are talking about is legal personhood under the law. I do not think that something that is not yet a person, cannot speak for itself, does not have the capacity to sustain conscience or viability without the life of the mother.
If we go with her logic, she's literally stopping the process. You are the problem. It didn't die from any natural causes. You were the fucking cause. It's like a person that's, let's say if it's fucking put them in an incubator, whatever. I'm the mad scientist. This person could actually grow into a human, but I'm sitting there fucking stopping that process from happening. You're the fucking murderer. That's what you call murder. Okay? This person was breathing. This person was living. Right? Extracting resources to become what you are. If you go and stop that, you're playing God. You did that. You stopped it. Because it couldn't, whatever you trying to make it out to be in your fat dumbass head, little mama, little stinky mama. She look like little mama, right? Little Bow Wow. Bitch look like a little Bow Wow. If you stop it, bro, you're the fucking problem. You stop that process from happening. You play God. It's simple. It's not hard to understand. Okay?
Can be
it's not.
assigned the same constitutional rights as someone who can.
So then do you define personhood by people's ability to live on their own or their ability to speak? You yourself right now said that it's about someone being able to speak or someone being able to exist on their own. Is that how you define someone's worth or personhood?
No, that's not how I define someone's worth or personhood. I define someone's worth or personhood based on the 14th Amendment. So in the 14th Amendment, that's our right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, all these things. We like them, right? Right? Yes. So I define personhood based on the first sentence of the 14th Amendment. It says all persons born or naturalized, right?
Can I interject here for just a second?
No. Because a fetus has not been born, it cannot be given the same constitutional value as a human who has been born or naturalized in the U.S. Now, if you would like to respond to that.
So that's the citizenship clause, all persons born or naturalized. It's not actually a defining fact about when human life begins, because also it goes on to say that
So it's open for interpretation. It's neither moral or immoral, right? But the thing is that she doesn't believe in anything. She doesn't believe in God. She doesn't believe in anything. So she's basing her morals off of anything that is devious. That could be. That's the thing. They make life much harder when they want to flip shit. But if you leave wiggle room, these immoral people will use that in between the lines. They go in between the lines and say, well, it's a fetus. Like, it's like playing a game. Like, oh, that's a fetus. Up to this is this. Up to this is that. My nigga. Like, you was that. What's a clump of cells? You were a clump of cells. You are a clump of cells. But you making life a little bit too difficult, man. But the devil is in a gray area. That's where the devil lies. Okay, he plays games within that gray area. Okay, we're trying to do rid of that.
Within the jurisdiction of the United States, that no person shall be basically discriminated against under the law. Right? All persons have a right to life, liberty, and property. Life, liberty, and property. Sorry, I was talking a little too fast. and due process of the law, right? So with that being said, what you're saying is not implying that a fetus isn't a person, because legal personhood also classifies like corporations. So we can also argue that. But my question,
that's
for
actually
you,
a
real
great
quick,
point, because I disagree with corporate personhood. I think that's ridiculous too, because a corporation hasn't been born, a corporation isn't naturalized, and a corporation does not have the same consequences as a human being who is alive with a conscience who has to pay taxes does, right? And we recognize this in a lot of different ways, right? Like, we recognize that a toddler doesn't have the right to vote. Like, we recognize that there are levels to constitutional rights.
We're talking about basic human rights, which is the right to life. And so there's been plenty of times that the law, and I'm sure you would agree with this, that the law was not backing up the full rights that every human deserves. So, for instance, at one point in time, there was in the Constitution not full rights for African Americans, right? But that doesn't mean that they didn't deserve it, because at the end of the day, they were a person, they were a human. And so we're talking about basic human rights.
I'm actually not talking about basic human rights. The prompt is constitutional protections, right? So I'm not talking
the right to life, right?
Constitutional protections, which would involve the right to life, liberty, right? The ability to own property without due process, right? So this isn't human rights, this is constitutional rights. I'm talking about the law and who has those rights based on our Constitution. A fetus does not have those rights yet because it has not been born. It's in the document. That is the point. And when you bring up slavery, the 14th Amendment was actually a Reconstruction Amendment that was written in response to the fact that slaves didn't have human rights.
It wasn't there at first until abolitionists pushed it. If you don't have activists like this who have a clear mind and don't have a terrible heart like you or dismantled mind through feminism, you will eventually get the same rights that black people got back in the days. At first, we couldn't even think about it. Black people were just slaves. It was set in stone. The Constitution doesn't support it. You're a slave. Okay, what they're doing, basically they're the trendsetters right now. When you figure out that these humans and your fetuses in your stomach is actually a fucking human, right? These people are already trendsetters. They already know it. Okay, they already know that these people are human, so they're fighting on the behalf of these humans that can't fight for themselves, because you were once in the stomach, you were once in the belly. All right, that's where you reside before you came to Earth and start talking about kill every other baby you have a right to. Okay, they're the trendsetters. They're the abolitionists back in the days when everybody thought that, well, black people were supposed to be property. It was unpopular. This is literally what it was. When you go to a college campus and everybody's screaming out this feminist fucking slop, you got activists who speaks on the behalf of the baby in your stomach. Okay?
Higher legislation that defines who has rights and who doesn't is because of that, because we recognize it in our past.
So when does the fetus begin to, in your opinion, get those rights to life?
The same equal constitutional protections as a human woman would be once it is born and naturalized as a U.S. citizen, once it gets a social security number, once it becomes a human being who is...
But you know what's funny? Like, we're literally trying to stop a mother from killing her. We're literally trying to stop a mother from harming her fucking child. They get mad when animals fucking do it. Ain't that crazy?
Dom DeMarco.
Shit like that, shit like that, shit like that.
These people will literally cry when an animal eats its own fucking child. But when they do it, it's just not a child. I just can't see it. It's not a child. It's not born yet. You stop the process of it being born. You're the problem. You are the problem. All right? It's just fucking sick to me, bro. It's just stupid.
Fully, viable human being who is capable of sustaining life on their own, right?
So you're for third trimester abortions because they're not born yet?
I'm pro Roe v. Wade. The legislation around abortion, that is my stance, right? Which allows abortions up until 24 weeks of pregnancy, with the singular exception for the life of the mother. Just so everyone knows my stance.
So if viability is your point, then why is that? Why is that when a baby can survive on its own, why is it that then their life is protected, but then when a baby still needs assistance to function, to develop, why is their life not protected? Because then if you're saying it's solely because of what the baby can do or what the baby can't do, that falls into a really slippery slope with a lot of individuals who cannot take care of themselves, who need caregivers, who don't have the ability to speak, who have other impairments.
That's actually a great question. So the reason why we define it based on viability is A, at 24 weeks, most people who are pregnant will know that they are pregnant, will have gotten an opportunity to get an abortion if they want that care, right? But the reason why
basically the baby had to slip through the slippery claws of their mother's their murderous mother's hands in order to be a human. That's sick. We literally are fighting against, like, we're trying to bring women's nature back into them. Like, we're trying to find a little piece of humanity in these women. And it's sad to say it doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't fucking exist. And once we understand this in society, we can look at them as we should. Now, these women, I appreciate these women. These are accountability queens. They deserve to be fucking praised. Like, let's get them a Dom DeMarco.
Shit like that.
Sickening to try to humanize a fucking human. And it's funny because I understand it throughout history, black people were done the same exact way. But these are the people that stood up for black people when it wasn't popular, saying that these people are human, they don't deserve this treatment. Okay? It's just that simple. And she is the Democrats, right? Because they don't want to believe. And somehow they make in their brain that, eventually it flipped and the Democrats became the Republicans. Fuck no. No. They found a way to hide it. The Democrats, she literally is an old school Democrat, okay? That created the KKK. She's that, right? But in this debate, they're going to bring up Margaret Sanger, which is the sick, murderous mother, or potential mother. They're going to bring up Margaret Sanger, which is her master. This is her Jesus, okay? But she wants to basically push her to the side and say she's irrelevant at this point. No, she's very relevant. She's the creator of your mindset. But you don't understand where it stems from. You're so smart, but you don't do enough research to dig into what Planned Parenthood stood for. Just like the Democratic Party, right? It's funny to me.
At viability is because up until that point, you're basically having to choose between a mother's ability to choose what she wants for her body and the fetus's, presumed right to life, right? But if you want me to answer your question, thank you. So, but after 24 weeks, you no longer have to make that choice, right? Once it's viable and it can be removed from the womb, right, and sustain life on its own, then you don't have to choose between the mother and the fetus. But as it stands right now, before viability, if a woman wants to have an abortion, she can't do that, and that's not acceptable.
So you brought up, between the mother and the child. Well, even after the baby is born, parents can still be charged with neglect laws. The parent is still in charge of taking care of their baby because that is their baby.
Absolutely, which is a great reason why women should have the right to choose whether or not they want to have
taking care of your baby and neglect is
quick. Just close your fucking legs. That's the choice. That's a fucking choice. You don't need to murder anything. Just close your fucking legs. You have a choice.
Very different than murdering your baby.
Well, it's not murdering, though, because you don't know when life begins. Nobody does.
Can you define murder?
Okay, yes. I mean, in my opinion, and based on the law, murder is the intentional killing of a human being. Yes.
The scientific consensus that a baby in the womb is a human being.
I know you keep harping on that, but again...
Well, do you agree that a fetus is a human being?
And everyone will see that there is not a scientific consensus.
Do you agree that a fetus is a human being?
I don't believe it's a fully, developed human being. It is a human being in the process
of It's a stage of development, right? Just like a child, a baby, an adult.
Okay, so if that's the case, I don't think you're a fully functioning human being. I think you have brain aids, and maybe I should get rid of you. Like, maybe you're not fully functional. You can't think straight. You don't have a brain to think logical. You don't have that. You're just a fucking emotional, and you're so stuck on being a woman that you're ready to destroy everything around you to do what's beneficial to woman. That's your God, just woman. What the fuck is wrong with you? Not understanding, maybe they'll stop aborting children if we said, you aborted a woman, right? A potential woman, you probably aborted that. Maybe they'll fucking stop. What? I aborted a girl? Yeah, you did that. Mm-hmm. A potential girl, you aborted. You got rid of her. You let Anthony Fauci play with her body parts to do gain-of-function research. That's what you did.
Well, a fetus is a stage of development.
Sure. So, I'm glad you know that.
I just wanted to interject and ask a question. Do you believe that mothers have a unique moral duty to their children?
I do, which is why I believe that mothers should have the choice as to whether or not they should have those children, right?
So in my position, our position would be that the unique moral duty that we're talking about, that parents are owed to their children, is dependent on the standard of care that is necessary. So the reason why we're talking about viability or a newborn is because we understand, just like you understand, When a newborn is born, the mother is not the exclusive, uniquely dependent. But we're saying that that doesn't give her the right to kill her baby because in that situation, a mother can transfer her, she's required legally and morally to safely transfer that responsibility to somebody else. But when she is pregnant, pre-viability, she cannot transfer that moral responsibility or act of care.
Exactly.
But you just said that you believe mothers have a moral duty to their children. So in this instance, the moral duty is to not intervene with a violent legal force to kill her own child. Would you agree?
Okay, so here's the thing. I want to talk firstly about the language of killing babies, because I know this is going to come up a lot. Pro-lifers always like to say killing babies, killing babies, killing babies. It's not a baby. I know this from my debate with Charlie.
She's morally dead. The more you say that, she has to really think about this and soak it in. She don't want that. Accountability. That's literally accountability. You're killing baby. What? I don't want to believe I'm a murderer. You are, though. You are. I know you don't want to hear it, but that doesn't mean you ain't. Let's drop a fucking bomb. You don't want to believe it, but yes. But I want you guys to look at this. Just look at the. She got crystals on, right? Right? Very unfeminine, very fucking liberal-like, right? But these women are dressed modestly and got fucking rings on their finger. Let's drop a motherfucking bomb. Beautiful, beautiful women that are very, very much feminine. We love those women, okay? And she looks crazy.
Unique moral duty that we're talking about that parents are owed to their children is dependent on the standard of care that is necessary. So the reason why we're talking about viability or a newborn is because we understand, it's just like you understand, when a newborn is born, the mother is not the exclusive, uniquely dependent. But we're saying that that doesn't give her the right to kill her baby because in that situation, a mother can transfer her, she's required legally and morally to safely transfer that responsibility to somebody else. But when she is pregnant, pre-viability, she cannot transfer that moral responsibility or act of care.
Exactly.
But you just said that you believe mothers have a moral duty to their children. So in this instance, the moral duty is to not intervene with a violent legal force to kill her own child. Would you agree?
Okay, so here's the thing. I want to talk firstly about the language of killing babies, because I know this is going to come up a lot. Pro-lifers always like to say killing babies, killing babies, killing babies. It's not a baby. I know this from my debate with Charlie Kirk. We talked a lot about the definition of what a baby is and what it's not. A baby specifically means post-birth. So if you want to say killing a fetus, that's fine, but killing a baby is scientifically incorrect. So I would appreciate it.
That what liberals they don't know what a woman is. They don't know what bathroom to use, but they definitely know what a fetus is and a baby. Let's drop a motherfucking. They don't know any other terms when it comes to anything else, but they do know what a fucking fetus is. They can tell you between the two when it comes to DNA and biology, but when it comes to knowing what bathroom to use and knowing what a woman is, they're fucking thrown for a loop. What the fuck? What the
We
fuck?
don't use that language.
Right now, you just
right?
said that a fetus is a human being, correct?
But it's not a baby, right? If we're recognizing the
Oh my
stages of
God.
fetal development,
I agree
and if
with
we're
you.
recognizing the stages of life development, then saying killing a baby is different than saying killing a
Well,
fetus.
we're saying it's
and the
killing a
reason why you
human
use
being.
that language is to evoke an emotional response in
No.
the viewer.
I think
Tell
that's
the
really
right? When it's
uncharitable.
actually disingenuous because that's not what it means.
But that's not what we're saying. We're saying that it's killing a human being, which you agree that it is a human being. It's a stage of development. So killing a fetus is killing a human being. And by your definition, that is murder because
Well,
you're
I
killing a
don't think
human being.
abortion is murder at all, actually. I mean, I
you're
think
a
before
demon.
viability, I don't believe abortion is murder because, again, I don't believe that we know
Man,
exactly.
by your logic, I don't believe in dumb women, dumbass abortionist ass women are not humans. I don't believe in that, right? I just don't believe in that. I don't gotta believe it. I'm sorry. And I think that maybe we should come up with laws to extort them. I mean, exterminate them. Like, you just gotta be. We exterminate animals for killing humans, dog. Like, we exterminate animals for tasting humans. They got a little bite. You gotta get rid of them just in case they like it. We got mothers. Murderous mothers killing a baby at will, loving it. They love it. They love it. Some of the motherfucking liberals, they chant. They love that shit. And we let y'all live amongst us, telling us what moral is and what immoral. You are not in a position to tell me what moral and immoral is. Your mindset is fucked. And if we didn't live in a Christian society, that you benefit from by thinking that way, ooh boy, you would have been burned at the stake, woman.
When life begins in the stages of fetal development. But what I do know is that, and depending on what stage you are in a pregnancy, you don't even know if your pregnancy is viable, right? So you can't assume that it's going to live because it could be ectopic, right? It could be a non-viable pregnancy. It could be a fatal fetal anomaly. You can't say for certain at every stage of pregnancy that it is going
That's
to
natural.
become
You fucking
a
caused it.
viable
There's a big
baby
difference,
at some
dumbass.
point. But the reason why I don't believe abortion is murder up until 24 weeks is because I don't know that it's alive. So like that's kind of, you can't say that something is murder.
Get a fucking ultrasound, you dumb fuck. What the fuck? Who are we arguing with? The baby moves. You nuts? I don't know if it's alive. It kicked. I don't know what kicked me. What? You gotta be. I know you want to murder. I know you do. You just, bruh, like, just stop arguing with people. You want to believe what the fuck you want to believe. That's fine. But stop acting like you don't have a good faith argument with people. Trying to fucking understand if that's a human or not. Because you're not logical. And they're trying to bring you back into logics. You don't want that. All right? I understand you don't want that. But, man, you gotta fucking stop acting like you actually care about this argument. Because you really fucking don't. It's not hard to see that it's not that baby is a fucking human. That baby's a fucking live. It's really not hard to see that. Get a fucking ultrasound. Let's see what you think about that.
If it's not alive yet.
Well, the fetus is alive, and I know that you think that we don't have a consensus on when life begins, but the fetus does, the zygote actually, even at the earliest stages of human life, it metabolizes nutrients, it develops,
A
it
zygote is a
grows.
singular cell.
It's a singular cell that is totipotent is the term. So the entire genotype is oriented towards being able to, in its own it can self-sustain itself in the sense that it doesn't need outside instructions to do what it's about to do. And it's going to
But
rapidly
it does need outside
develop.
nutrients, right? It cannot sustain
It needs
life.
the nutrients of the mother,
It's
which
not
takes
yet
me
an
back to
independent
what
organism.
I feel like you
Everyone
didn't
needs
answer
nutrients,
earlier.
though. Even a baby does.
But it
That's
can't
not a good argument.
it cannot sustain life in any capacity without being inside of the mother's womb.
So is someone
She
not-
is providing nutrients, right?
Because that's its natural habitat. If you
Facts.
look at a human who is older, its natural habitat is needing oxygen.
Yes,
it's
but
needing
it can
certain
like
foods. That's
breathe
its natural
on its
habitat.
own, right?
Yes,
like it
but-
has a lung.
Yeah,
It
but
has
based on
lungs
that-
that work. Like actually, that's an interesting point. Let's talk about the difference between an elder person and a fetus, right? An elder person, although they might need assistance in doing things, right? They can still breathe on their own. They can still put food from their mouth to their stomach and digest that nutrients on their own, right? Although they might need
Bitch,
assistance
all
in
you
doing
need
all
to
these
do when you're
things, right?
pregnant is eat, and the baby got it. You don't need to dig in your belly and put food in the baby's stomach. Bitch, eat. The baby gonna eat. Okay, it's very fully functional. It's just in your stomach. That's all it is. I know you want to. It's just out of control. I know you want to kill so bad. I know you do. I know you fucking do. That's all you want to do. I'm sorry.
When they poop, they can poop on their own. Their body is still functional, even though it needs assistance. They are still an independent organism. And anyone can provide that assistance,
But
right?
That's similar
It
to a
doesn't
baby,
have to
though.
be.
A baby still
It's an
breathes on
independent
its own.
organism.
Its heartbeat moves
Exactly.
on its own.
It is similar to a baby, but it's not similar to a fetus. That's the point.
I was just gonna
It's
say
similar to a
that you
fetus
still
because the
haven't. You
fetus
said
literally does everything on its own while just living in the belly. If you don't disrupt what the baby's doing, then if you don't disrupt what the fetus, I gotta play into this shit because it's the argument. If you don't interrupt what the fetus is doing, it's literally living on its own. Yeah, it's growing inside your stomach, but you don't need to literally feed it with like take the baby out, feed and put it back in your stomach. Just eat, bitch. Like you hungry anyways. Like this poop, you gonna poop anyway. Like you're good. Just don't fucking drink alcohol to fuck the baby up. That's all you need to do. Just stay off drugs and the baby gonna be all right. All right, it's that simple. The baby is the fetus is literally fucking is a living organism, breathing, eating on its fucking own. It doesn't need your input outside of not doing drugs because it's doing its own thing in that belly. As long as you eating, it's eating. As long as you get the nutrients you need, the baby's getting the nutrients that he or she needs, or the fetus, whatever the fuck you want to call it. All right.
that it's a baby, that it's not a baby at all. But
not,
at the end of the day, the Constitution doesn't say that babies get rights as personhood. And so if it's a life and if it's a human,
No, a baby
that is
does
a
have
person.
legal personhood. Yes.
Okay, so then it's a person. So then it should have full
No,
constitutional
a baby
rights.
has personhood, right? So the prompt is a fetus is not
A
a
baby, yes, so
a
it doesn't-
baby has legal personhood. A baby has constitutional rights, a social security number, and the needs that a baby has.
So does a social security number make someone a person? What makes someone a person?
No, a social security number does not make someone a person, but under the definition,
But I want to know. I want to know for you.
But here's
what
the thing:
makes
we're
what
not
makes it a
talking
person?
about personal morality. I don't care when you think life begins.
I've
don't
never said.
care-
I actually
We're only
haven't given
talking about
mine.
science.
I'm
Do you
asking
wanna-
you
do you
because
wanna
of your
answer?
So
We're not
your
talking
prompt
about-
was a fetus is not a baby, therefore it doesn't get full constitutional rights.
Yes.
So in the Constitution it says person. So I'm asking, what makes someone a person? I want to
So
know.
based on the constitutional definition, it is someone who is born or naturalized in the U.S. gets
trying too
full
hard.
constitutional rights under our laws, right?
sound like
It
immigration
has
to
not
me.
been born yet, so it does not deserve those full
But that goes back to my
rights.
point. We don't always just go
She's
off.
using the immigration law to talk about actual humans. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This bitch wanted. She said, "Born or naturalized." And bro, you can't. What is wrong with you? You basing fucking humanity on fucking on the Constitution? This is nuts. So that's your moral ground. That's where you have all your morals. That's where you get your morals from. So when slavery was here, you would have to agree with it because the Constitution doesn't back up black humans, black people. It just doesn't back them up. So she's out of control, bro.
What the law says
Not
when it
control.
says who
We
gets
do
rights
go
and
off the
who
laws,
don't.
what the law says when
I-
it comes to the constitutional rights.
But
of
sometimes
the
the law is
individual,
not.
yes.
Yes, and that's why we're here today, actually advocating for life, because we believe right now the law is not federally backing up that even the preborn are alive, they are a person. So therefore, they should get the full constitutional rights, the right to life.
But that
And
would
just
be
like,
great
just at one
if
point in
you can
time,
just, like-
women didn't get the full rights to vote. Just like at one point in time,
I mean,
you know,
still,
African Americans didn't have the full right to freedom. We're saying we're advocating here today because the preborn don't get the full right to life that they should have.
But right,
Facts.
the issue though is that the preborn's right to life infringes on the mother's right to
So,
liberty.
as a
Hold
mother-
on,
What's wrong with
pause.
this lady?
Let me respond to her, and then you are welcome to go. So the issue is that women having the right to vote doesn't take away the right to vote from men, right? Black people not being slaves doesn't mean white people are now slaves.
White people were offended, plenty of them, because they weren't able to own slaves. And the law
property.
says it doesn't matter what you want to do necessarily. It matters if do they have value.
Okay,
And
the
the-
Right. They were property. You literally look. Look. I'm black. We all know that. We all see it. Okay. It's no. I'm not hiding. But we, as a black person, my ancestors were property. Imagine somebody saying you can't have your property anymore. I know you paid for this slave. You know you did everything right by law, but now the law changed, and you got to treat them with respect, and you got to just let them go. I paid money for this shit. What the fuck? That's not fair. And well, it is fair because guess what? That's the new law. All right, that's basically what they're doing right now, saying that these babies these fetuses, whatever the fuck you want to call it, have value in your stomach, and they deserve a right to live, just like African Americans at the time. It wasn't popular back then. All right, same. You going to the same mindset you have now was very popular now when it comes to black people. But it's funny how the roles reverse because black people are the most. I think black women are the most that's having abortion right now.
The point that I'm making is not whether
So
or
it
not
doesn't
someone was
matter.
inconvenienced. The point that I'm making is that black people having freedom
Mouse, how you doing,
doesn't
baby?
infringe upon
Ethan Mouse, how you doing, baby?
Dom DeMarco.
Shit like that. Shit
What's
like
good,
that.
baby?
Shit like that.
Hey, if you agree with me, hey, I fuck with you, baby. I mean, I don't want you to always agree with me because you're not gonna always agree with me, but I argue with you, man. I'm doing good, buddy. That's right,
anyone
baby. Let's get
else's
it.
constitutional rights.
You're alive.
argument we're making is that it does infringe, abortion does infringe on the constitutional rights that a child should have because they're a person. And all
Exactly. So
persons
what we're doing
should
right
have a
now
right to
is
life.
choosing between the constitutional rights of a born and naturalized human being who is conscious, who does have needs, who does feel pain, and a clump of cells.
Okay, so
that is
really,
not,
really
they're
quick.
not equal.
Bodily autonomy doesn't extend to intentionally ending the life of another innocent person. And I would love to just hear your perspective on how does the Constitution even infer a right to abortion? Because that's part of the reason that abortion, like Roe v. Wade, was even overturned in the first place, is because the Supreme Court decided that a right has to be rooted deeply in this nation's history as well as what we practice. So when the 14th Amendment was ratified in 1868, abortion was widely restricted across the states. So they determined that it's not a right because in the Constitution, it's not inferred as a right, and that's why Roe v. Wade was overturned with Dobbs v. Jackson. So my question for you is, number one, you still haven't proven how a fetus isn't a human being. And also, number two, how does a child's natural, age-appropriate stage in development and dependency on their parent give us a right to end their life?
I'm sorry, can you repeat one of those questions?
I'll just say what I said at the end. So how does a child's natural, age-appropriate dependency on their parent give us a right to kill them? Because, right, parents have an obligation to protect their children, not intentionally kill them, and abortion intentionally kills a innocent fetus, human being, whatever you want to call it.
It is the liberty of a woman to decide what happens with her body. That is in the Constitution 1000%. Everyone gets that right, and everyone should always have that right. And if you have to choose between something that she is sustaining, a life that only she can sustain, and her life, I believe that her life takes constitutional precedent.
Well, you just conceded that she had rights. Like you just conceded that there's a life inside her stomach, bro. Right? But if you had to choose, you would choose the woman over the child, right? But you you just proved that there's life inside that stomach. I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna leave that alone. Right? She was spitting facts.
Support the
Facts.
Dr. Daff Show on Patreon. If you've ever wondered
Shout out
what
to Dr.
happens
Daff,
before
but,
the camera,
we gotta
the
move on.
conversation, whether they're
All right, my next prompt is, using religion to justify a pro-life argument is unconstitutional.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Eat the mouth.
Hello, ladies. I'm Naima.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Rochelle.
I'm Julia Kate.
Hi, I'm Maddie.
Look how fucking no words. Look at how feminine and fit these women are. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That bitch look like Lil Bow Wow. You just don't know. She like a dried up Lil Mama.
Hi, I'm Aniela.
Okay, you guys, so for this prompt, I realized after I submitted it that it was not as clear as I wanted to be. So let me make something perfectly clear. I am not here to attack whatever your faith is, whatever you believe in your life, and however it, dictates how you move in the world. That is absolutely your right. What I have an issue with is using religion to justify legislative decisions, because that's when it becomes about other people having to follow your religion. If you have a personal belief that dictates how you move, that is absolutely.
But see how funny this is? She gets the benefit of having a different opinion in a predominantly Christian society. Now, if she had these opinions, right, in Afghanistan, because that's a different religion, right? Your shit would get chopped off. You hear me? Drop a bomb. It's funny how atheists, they love Christianity because they get to live amongst us with that devious mindset. And we allow it. It's fine. But they can't do it nowhere fucking else. Go somewhere else with that mindset and see if it works. See if it works. There's always, in most countries, matter of fact, just go to North Korea where they worship their fucking president or whatever the fuck he is. Go there. Or yeah, that's North Korea. Go there. Xi Jinping. But you don't want that. You want it here.
Just don't make it my issue, is my thing.
So where does it say that in the Constitution?
In the First Amendment.
And can you explain to me what that says?
Okay. Yeah, for sure. All right. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise of religion.
Perfect. And so my thought to that is that abortion is first and foremost a human rights issue. Abortion is actually the greatest human rights issue of our time because it is the killing of an innocent human being. And so you don't need religion in order to justify it, but I will say religion is compatible with it. So I think there are some things that we can agree morally.
Well, religion tells you not to kill the person next to you, right? And I argue this a lot with people that don't believe in God or anything. They don't have a standard. They have nothing to stand on. They don't have nothing that grounds them. So you can make up laws anytime in your fucking head and justify it because I got other people that believe in what I believe in, and we willing to take whatever you got. Who gonna prove me wrong? That's what a society looks like without no God. Because who's gonna hold me accountable if I got everybody in the back of me that believe in what I believe in and will put a sword to anyone's neck that don't believe what I believe. You don't see the shame and shit that they do as far as morality, what women does. That shit don't work in a society of your mindset. It doesn't work because how you gonna shame me when I can just cut your fucking head off? Like, all right, shame that. How about that? I'm right because guess what? Everybody in back of me says I'm right. And what you gonna do about it? You just gonna sit back and accept it or you gonna acclimate to what I want because I got force. If you don't have religion, what you have is fucking force. Brute force. And whoever is the strongest wins. And they get to make the rules and break the rules. You don't like that. You don't like it at all. So stop lying to yourself. You're sitting here in a Christian country where you benefit from, where you can share your stupid ass ideologies and nothing happen to you. Because it's okay. And Christianity allows it. Okay? But if we didn't believe in God, by God, as a woman, you would not have any rights, I promise you. Because we wouldn't, that's just men's, we will take your fucking, you can't fight for yourself. So you will be shutting the fuck up. Like, anytime we tell you to shut up. Is it cruel? Yes. But how is it cruel to a person that don't believe in God? I'm my God. How are you going to tell me what's wrong and what's right? But the thing is that it's funny because you guys benefit from this. And you don't even realize it. You benefit from the kindness of Christianity. Okay, you can be demonic. You can believe in the devil. You can believe in anything you want, but you have a place to live in this country, which I don't agree with. I don't think that everybody should be Christian, but that mindset that doesn't acclimate to Christianity as far as killing your own children, we don't agree with that. But we allow it because this country, as a Christian, we want to be fair to everybody. But you can't be. Not everybody gonna make it, baby.
Are wrong. Killing, stealing, and abortion is killing, and so. I don't really understand how you think the Constitution would.
Well, okay, but so what? That's your personal belief based on your religious framework. Now justify it secularly. And if God's on your side, that should be
right. So
quite
it's
easy.
not based on religious framework. Are there certain things that we can come to by natural law?
By natural law?
But
yeah,
why?
so can we agree
so
that
my
still...
thing is this, right? She's saying make a secular argument that benefits Christianity and her. You're the minority. Why do I have to appease you? That's the problem. We're appeasing too many people that don't believe in what we believe in. I don't give a fuck. I don't have to appease you. You're in my country. We believe in this thing. Why do I have to acclimate to you? That's the problem. Abortion is not Jesus-like. All right? It's not Christ-like. It's not okay. But we're appeasing the people who claim to be Christian because you do got Christians who are out of order. You do. I'm not gonna lie. That agree with abortion and you bring up these extremist views to justify this bad behavior. And I think that they're gonna pay for it, in an afterlife because you will pay for it. But the thing is that we don't have to acclimate to you. We don't have to make an argument for y'all. Because y'all not the majority. It's just that simple. But we keep making arguments for you guys to make you feel at home. But meanwhile, we're losing ourselves within the mix of that.
Stealing is wrong. That murdering an innocent human being is wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
Hello.
So then, would you say that... Does someone else want to go, maybe? And take that? Sorry.
I'll take it over. I just have a clarifying question, Naima.
For sure.
Are you claiming that an American law is only constitutional if it serves a secular interest?
It doesn't have to serve a secular interest, but it cannot be written on the basis of serving a religious interest, right?
Okay, are you aware of the 2022 landmark decision Kennedy v. Birmingham, which ruled that the Establishment Clause must be interpreted by the Founding Fathers' original intentions and historical practices? So in order to interpret the Establishment Clause, we have to look at what our Founding Fathers originally intended. And they justified the Constitution itself by religion. We cannot separate the architecture of American liberty by destroying the Judeo-Christian foundation that built it.
Just because they believed in God does not mean that the Constitution itself was entirely justified by religion.
No, their mindset with writing the Constitution was religious minded. Basically what they're saying, you can't take one without the fucking other. But you're trying to separate the two when that doesn't exist, because when they created the Constitution, they had a Christ-like mindset. But you're saying it has to benefit me because I'm not going to accept it unless it has nothing to do with religion. Bro, I'm sorry. Religion was here before you. Fucking bomb.
John Adams said that the Constitution was written for religious and moral people.
You got to let me talk. Thank you. So religious and moral, again, that would not include just solely religious people. But the issue that we're running into here is that if your government and the laws therein are based solely upon religious principles.
Hey, let's give it.
Dom DeMarco, shit like that.
Thank you for trying to help me, bro. Facts, man. I try, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm new to this shit, and I'm just like, I'm flying as I go, bro. I'm flying as I go. I mean, but I do appreciate your feedback, man. That means you're actually watching and you care, bro. Appreciate that. Hopefully you grow with me, Ethan.
This is no longer a democracy, but a theocracy. And theocracy sucks. Even for those who are of the religious in-group, it is a horrible system of government, right? Just like nobody wants to live in a dictatorship. So you can't base your laws in this country around religion. And I might argue, as a religious person, part of the reason why that law was established, the First Amendment in the Bill of Rights, is because it infringes on everyone's religious freedom, because not every Christian, believes exactly the same way. My mother is a Christian and she disagrees with all of you.
With Base 44.
Now, she said her mother is a Christian. If your mama birthed you as a demon witch, your mama did a terrible job, because how the hell she birthed something so terrible, bro? Oh my God. I don't know, man. I don't know.
So you can't just base your laws solely on religion. If that's how you establish your belief system and your framework, by all means.
May I respond?
Absolutely.
Okay, so currently, by the Supreme Court's ruling, the standard is the historical practices and original intentions of the Founding Fathers. Our Founding Fathers did not create a theocracy.
Sorry, Ethan. Yeah, I said, yeah, sure. Show me your previous work. I want to see it. See if we can do some work together, brother.
In fact, they wanted to declare independence from England, which had its own church. And when we think about separation of church and state, which has been widely misconstrued, it is actually to keep government overreach out of faith, not to keep biblical morality out of public policy. And I just
yes, my Instagram is at Skittles. What's up, baby? It is Coast Gang CB. Coast Gang CB, bro, on Instagram. What's up, Skittles, man? We gonna keep pushing this content, baby. But hit me up, brother. I will reply. If you want anybody on my Insta, I will reply. I'm not a stuck up guy, bro. I'm not a stuck up guy.
I want to ask one question.
I would disagree with that.
So, I want to know why the first Congress that wrote and approved the First Amendment with the Establishment Clause, the very next day that Congress instituted a national day of prayer and thanksgiving, did they just violate their own law?
I'm sorry, you're talking about Thanksgiving, the national holiday?
No, they instituted a national day of prayer and thanksgiving to God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not just some vague notion of religious inclusivity, but the God of the Bible. And when our founders wrote the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the right to life is first, because it is the supreme prerequisite to all the other rights. You can't have happiness, any of these things, if you're not first alive. And the point is, the Declaration of Independence is on one premise. Our rights do not come from a politician, a bureaucratic state, but they are a sacred endowment from our Creator. And that's the thing. You said nobody knows when life begins.
But they're a sacred endowment from your Creator, right? I don't believe in your Creator, and you cannot force your Creator onto me until I want to accept.
I'm just gonna be real with you, stinky little mama. We can force it on you. I'm not gonna lie, but honestly, you gotta respect that we don't. All right, we're being nice to you. These women are trying to talk a soul into a soulless little human. That's Trippy Red little cousin. That's Trippy Blue.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
That's Trippy Blue right there.
Your Creator. That is the point of keeping. I mean, I disagree with the whole premise of like we keep politics out of religion and not religion out of politics. I don't think there's a way to divorce those two things, right? If you want to have a country in which
you tried to divorce it with the Constitution, you gotta hear yourself. You're trying to take religion out of the Constitution, but you can't divorce the two. You fucking are, bro.
Everyone is allowed to worship their God the way that they want to. You cannot create legislation that affects everyone based upon your God. If that's where your personal belief comes from, that's great. But you have to be able to justify it secularly. And I see that you want to speak. What's up?
Yes, hey. So I'm just wondering, was your prompt, is it based in the Lemon Test that was created by the Supreme Court in 1971?
No.
Okay, because when I heard about your prompt, it made me think of the Lemon Test where, you know, they scrutinize every potential law to make sure that it can stand separately from any sort of religious motivation. And as Julia Kate mentioned, in 2022, the Supreme Court ruled that that is legally dead. And they put forth the standard, which Julia Kate mentioned, which is the historical and traditions standard, which not only says it's constitutional to come from a religious motivation, but it's actually encouraged.
I know. I disagree with that ruling, just like I disagree with Dobbs. I mean,
yeah, so
you can disagree all the fuck you want. Jesus Christ, lady. I know she don't know Jesus Christ. Let me stop using his name in vain for this fucking whore. 30 lashes. 30 lashes, bro. Jesus Christ. I don't care if you disagree with the ruling. It's a ruling. Jesus. It's like I disagree that most people disagree with black people being free as slaves, right? They disagree, but that's a ruling, right? It stands the test of time to where you benefit off of it. And I do too, but I'm man enough to admit it. Right?
Well, here, I'm sorry. I cut you off. Do you want to finish and then I'll let you go?
Okay, so you're asking, your whole premise was, is it constitutional? Well, according to the 2022 ruling that the Lemon Test is legally dead, and now we go according to the history and tradition standard, it is absolutely constitutional and encouraged again for someone to come with religious motivation. George Washington, in his farewell address, he said, we cannot have a good society or good government without the two pillars of religion and morality. And when you look at the beliefs and ideas of the founding fathers, they communicated this. And that's one of the checklists with the history and tradition standard, that they want to look at what was in the heads of the founding fathers when they created the Constitution. Also, what was, another example, Supreme Court Justice James Wilson, I believe his name is, around the Constitution, in a case, he used Psalm 139 from the Bible to talk about the value of a human life. If it was not constitutional.
I know, I disagree with that. And I mean, there's been lots of interpretations of the Supreme Court on the constitutionality of certain things that I fundamentally disagree with. I mean, Plessy v. Ferguson, the Supreme Court case that made segregation constitutional, we all now can agree was a horrible ruling. I hope we can agree.
So the thing is that we can change rulings, right? At this point, you're saying that these children inside the womb, fetuses, whatever you want to call them, don't have constitutional rights. So let's just add it in there so that maybe you can shut the fuck up if your premise on a human being is based on the Constitution. That could change. We could add more to it if you want. And take some out if you want. Okay? So if that's your premise, all we need to do as pro-lifers that want to save babies in the womb is just come up with a way for legislators outside of that. Get more people to come together and agree with fetuses in the womb being protected by the Constitution. Okay? If that's your premise, if that's where your argument is coming from.
Right? So there's lots of Supreme Court rulings that I don't necessarily personally agree with and is not how I would interpret the Constitution, which is the point of the prompt, right?
What do you think about the civil rights?
It was her turn.
If you're running your own business,
man, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
You need Symphony.
These people that think like that, they have a certain look on them, man. She looked a little sick and weak in the eyes. You feel what I'm saying? They don't look normal, bro. They just don't. They don't look happy. They look miserable. They done stuff in their life to where you could tell in their eyes, bro. They just lost. And hopefully she find her way back, man. But I don't know, man. It's harder to convince people that they're tricked than to trick a person. Than to trick a person. which means it's easier to trick a person. It's harder to untrick a person. Uh-oh. Look at me. Get down there. Fucking, yeah.
And being unconstitutional. Those two words kind of stood out to me. And I think someone else mentioned here that the pro-life position is not dependent on religion.
Exactly.
It is complementary. But I would also add that, and I know we talked a little bit about this in the previous prompt, but science and embryology, like people a lot smarter than me, embryologists, majority of them, like 96% of them actually have said when life begins.
96% when life begins is coming up a lot. I wonder where we're getting that.
You can look it up on
Is that Charlotte Lotzier? Who came up with that one?
I got you, Ethan.
You can also look at the molecular biology criterion for life.
Skittles, facts.
If we have a fact checker,
But in addition to that, so we mentioned.
I realize there's no fact checkers. There usually are, though. I have a question. How you feel about ICE? I love ICE. What the fuck? I love ICE. Bro, literally, I just worked, I was at an ICE detention center. I build elevators, bro. It was a dude walk inside the elevator, right? Because I was fixing an elevator at the ICE detention center in California. Bro, literally tried to hide his fucking ICE badge and shit because he thought I was gonna dox him. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, he was like, bro, to be honest with you, and this is real shit, bro. I didn't know that they feel this way. The dude was like,
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
The dude was like, bro, if you was looking, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? I really don't work for him. I picked this shit up outside. Maybe he was being facetious, but, bro, I'm not gonna dox you, bro. You straight, bro. You doing your fucking job. I fuck with that, man. So, I love ICE, bro. You know, I love ICE in my drink. I like ICE doing their job. I like, I'm just playing now, but I don't have a problem with ICE, bro.
Embryology, natural law,
Shout out to you,
human rights, just that in itself. But when I look at a couple other people that brought their faith to the table, in a sense, I think of MLK, right? A Baptist preacher that brought his faith to the table when he talked about the civil rights movement. Would we now look at the civil rights movement and say that was unconstitutional because he brought his faith to the table or in the public square?
Actually, I would say MLK is a great example of exactly what I want the pro-life movement to do, right? His personal beliefs, his motivations are based in his faith, right? And he was vocal about that. But he was still able to create a secular argument that justified his positions based on the Constitution, natural law, and that is what I'm asking the pro-life movement to do, right?
And our secular argument is that all human life begins at fertilization.
I know that's your secular argument, but that's not a scientific, objective fact yet.
It is. By molecular biology's criterion for determining life, whether something is alive or not, a zygote from the moment of fertilization meets all of the criterion. It has to do with cellular production. They have homostasis. They respond to external stimuli.
A zygote?
A zygote.
It's funny how this bitch could keep saying that it's not alive, but then if I bet you these liberals love plants, right? Crystals and plants and bullshit. So they plant something. When a plant dies, don't it fucking die? It's dead. You can't. It's dead. The roots are fucking If you could acknowledge that, how the fuck can't you acknowledge a fucking zygote in your stomach that grows? It grows. It's growing into a human, to what you are today. Why are you making life so fucking difficult to where you can't understand that? It's like they create nuances for shit that don't have nothing to do with nothing. You don't overcomplicate shit. When I see a person, honestly, in my life, when I see a person trying to overcomplicate a conversation, I know they fucking lying. Like, all right, bro, you talking too much. Get to the point. You try to over-explain, like, bro, you could have used less words to say one fucking thing, bro. We're not in college trying to break down a 5-page essay, my nigga. Like, say what you got to say, bro. Straight up. And let's get it over with. But the wordy shit, the word salad is crazy. You come on, you filibuster.
Well, Saldiva, it hasn't even been implanted in the womb
But it
yet.
knows how to implant without anything
No, baby,
else.
it could still be ectopic. It doesn't know how to implant.
And do you know that
they get stuck to the fallopian tubes all the time?
May I just finish my sentence? And
Sure.
the floor is yours. Do you know that at the moment of fertilization, everything is ultimately established, from its biological sex to its hair color, to its eye color, to its height, to even the fingerprint that it's going to have. It is not potential life. It is life with potential. And a woman has the choice to not engage in intercourse, but she does not have the choice to murder her child because it is inconvenient to her.
Well, first of all, not every woman has the choice not to engage in intercourse, as we'll get into rape, because that is a big part of this. But my point to that is, a zygote at the time of fertilization has not yet been implanted in the womb. It could still be an ectopic pregnancy. It could be a non-viable pregnancy. There are fatal fetal anomalies. You cannot say from the moment of conception, 100%, there will be a human life. So can we go back to religion for a second? Yeah. So I think that, like, I appreciate the secular arguments much more, but my issue and my fear is that Christian nationalism, specifically on this issue, is allowing for people to give up their fundamental right to practice their religion the way that they want to, including Christians, because you don't all agree on exactly how your religion should be practiced. So your government should not be making legislation based on religion, because that's not necessarily your beliefs, that's that person's belief.
Naima, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So, as we've been talking about in 2022, the standard is now the history and traditions standard. And so religious motivation is encouraged, but it cannot violate the Establishment Clause in the First Amendment.
But it
which
inherently
we know,
will.
if I can just finish, there's three things they look at. One, is this establishing like a Church of England? We don't want that here. Two, is this causing excessive government entanglement with the church? Three, is this inhibiting or advancing religion? Can you please tell me how pro-life laws do that? Because I cannot see that, because as a Christian, my work with pro-life, 99% of the time with Baby Life Begins, I don't quote one Bible verse.
Exactly,
I just quote
which is
the
how you
science.
should.
Yes, and so that's what I'm saying. I quote the science and the facts.
Which
and
is
so
as
it
you
sounds,
should.
again, unless you can tell me it's violating one of those three, the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, the pro-life position again is completely constitutional, in line with the history and tradition standard.
So my love, what you just described is not unconstitutional because you're backing it with science. That's all that I'm asking. That's all that I'm asking, is that it be justified with...
So science is her god, right? Science is her god. During COVID, she got 50 fucking boosters up her butt cheeks because science. The science side, it's good to get 30 vaccines. The science says wear a mask. Science says 6 weeks. If science is her fucking god, science changes every fucking time, okay? But honestly, when it comes to this type of science like biology, you can't have a good faith argument with the liberal who doesn't know what bathroom to use and don't know what a woman is. How you gonna tell me what the fuck a human is inside the womb, or when does a human start? If you're not honest enough to have a conversation about that, what makes you think you're going to be honest about anything fucking else? Or for me to even think that you're going to be honest about anything else, because you're so tied into self, you're not rooted in anything, right? You're not rooted in God, you're not rooted in country, because you know most of you guys are fucking terrorists and traitors, right? Openly traitors. You guys are not rooted in anything. You don't have morals. You don't even know what morals is, but you shame everybody. The thing with you guys is that you don't have a moral ground to stand on. So how could you tell me? Why would I trust you as a person that don't believe in, that don't have any side on this? Why would I believe in you? What's your credibility to make me believe in you? Because y'all got science wrong a whole bunch of fucking times. Y'all deny science when it comes to these men playing in women's sports. You deny it. You defy it. You don't even know what a fucking woman is. But when it comes to this abortion shit, don't talk about women's bodies. Now you know what a woman is. How can I trust you? Why would I take what you say at face value? I honestly believe that you're biased, and you're biased towards your own self, because science is your God. You are your own God. Woman is your God. Womanhood, that you don't know what is your God. You don't believe in anything. So I can't believe in you.
Secular morality and scientific data, and not, oh, my God said it's a murder, so therefore I'm gonna create these laws that everyone now has to follow. That's all that I want.
So if there was a source that said human life begins at fertilization, would you be pro-life?
If there was a source undeniably that stated human life begins at
scientific,
fertilization,
biological source.
if there was like 100% consensus, probably not.
I'm in my 40s and won't put up with unrealistic diets.
I love that they put a fucking commercial right then and there. I'm gonna play it over for you guys. Let's see if she's gonna ever have a good faith conversation from that statement that she honestly previously made. and this was a great question that she asked, and she put it in a loop. Let's be real. Now, if I'm gonna watch this debate fully, right? Does it even matter at this point? Let's watch it.
Unconstitutional because you're backing it with science. That's all that I'm asking. That's all that I'm asking is that it be justified with secular morality and scientific data and not, oh, my God said it's a murder, so therefore I'm going to create these laws that everyone now has to follow. That's all that I want.
So if there was a source that said human life begins at fertilization, would you be pro-life?
If there was a source undeniably that stated human life begins at
scientific,
fertilization,
biological source.
if there was like 100% consensus, probably not.
So Dr. Shaw, all right, what's her name? Dr. Shaw, all right, DAF Show, whatever the fuck, Dart, I don't know. What's your name? I can't really read the logo, but ma'am, you housed a person to have a debate, not trying to change their mind, not trying to learn anything. She's just trying to debate, and she don't give a fuck if there were scientific biology that proves that what's in your stomach is 100% a human, which we already fucking know. But they use nuances and play games with words to justify their deviant behavior. Now, why would you house a person that is stuck in their minds? What's the point of the argument? And that's my point. What's the fucking point of the argument? Because this lady asked a great question. She asked, hey, if there's a biology, if there's a fucking, let's hear it again. What'd you say, ma'am? That was perfect.
A scientific, biological source.
If there was
a scientific biological source that proves that fetus is a baby and a human. It's so absurd to even understand, say that out my fucking mouth like that. If that biology proves 100%, there's no fucking games you can play, no gray area for you to fucking nitpick on, for you to cause murder. Would you accept it? What'd she say?
Like 100% consensus? Probably not.
Why? Why not?
Why wouldn't I be? Honestly, because of the results of pro-life legislation. If we look at the world post-Dobbs, right? If we look at the past 4 years and what it has meant, infant mortality has increased by 5.6% in states with complete and total abortion bans, which is even higher for women of color. The rate of women who have been forced to carry non-viable pregnancies, which are stillbirths, right, to term, has increased exponentially. In the states in which there is no exception for rape or incest, there have been 65,000 women who have become pregnant through rape, right? And so in those states, those women are now being forced to carry a child to term that they didn't even have a choice in, conceiving, right? So regardless of the intention behind it, I'm looking at the effects of what this legislation has done to hundreds of thousands of women around this country.
You women use those women's plight to justify y'all having an abortion just because you fucked on a Friday. The guy didn't fuck with you. He didn't really like you because you're fucking annoying. And he said, hey, I'm gonna pay you this money, go get an abortion. That's what y'all doing. Y'all out here playing with that cat, that cooter. Y'all playing with that cat, getting rammed, and y'all using raped women's plight to justify you getting an abortion. To me, that's pure evil. That's fucking evil, okay? You know you was not raped. Why are you talking about those women? Why? 65,000 as opposed to how many women, not saying it's okay, but how many women get abortions just because of funsies? I had too much fun. You know what I'm saying? Waiting for a response. Bro, I got you, baby. I got you. Eden, just chill out. Yeah, so these women justify their bad, devious behavior, their murderous behavior, with the plight of the women who got raped. They don't really care. They just want to have their abortion, and they need it now. And guess what? I need it now because that woman got raped over there. It's the equivalent to black people using slavery to cause crime. Like, bro, like at this point, shut the fuck up. All right, shut up.
And I can't justify, the protection of fetal life with how it's actually impacted living women and those children once they're born.
Have you seen a picture of a baby who's aborted at 9 weeks?
Yes,
I
have.
They have little fingers and toes, and that life is not valuable to you? There are 2,000 innocent human beings killed every single day in America. That doesn't matter to you?
2,000. Oh, I'm sorry.
So why should I value your life? Like, you don't value children's life who was the most innocent, didn't ask to be here. You fucked. Laid down on a bed, got pounded out for as much time as you got pounded for. Got pregnant. Said, yank the baby out. And guess what? Sell his body parts for scientific reasons. And let them experiment with my baby's body parts. Yeah, I don't care. So why the fuck do I care about your life? If you get yanked up out here in these streets and somebody do whatever they want with you, why should I give a fuck? Why should I care? You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't like it when it's reversed on your shitty ass soul. You don't like it. But when it comes to the children that didn't ask to be here due to you spreading your legs when you could have kept them closed, right? Shout out to feminism. You could have avoided unaliving that child. You could have avoided that, but you didn't give a fuck. All right, you didn't give a rat's ass because you don't got to. But mind you, this conversation is becoming a normal. Okay, and that's good. That means change is coming.
Are you talking about
babies in the womb?
So
3,000 now. 3,000 now.
Right.
Does that not matter? Do these lives? This is the greatest human rights violation of our time.
But see, you keep talking about in the womb. I want to talk about out of the womb, right?
Okay,
These mothers and the lives that they are going through once they are forced to give birth to children that they do not want.
So I do interviews all the time with women who have had abortions, and their stories and their fears and what has happened to them afterwards. It's horrible.
99% of women do not regret having an abortion who have it.
Okay, I would say I really want to go back to the Establishment Clause really quick because even if you have a religious motivation behind what you believe, that still doesn't really, that's not establishing a religion. So there'd be a difference between, saying that we believe that it's murder because God says so, or murder is wrong, something along those lines. That wouldn't be an establishment of religion. If we established an abortion ban, that wouldn't require you to specifically be a Christian or specifically be a part of a religion.
Exactly, but now you have to follow your religious beliefs, even if you're not a Christian. That's the point. If you establish an abortion ban solely and specifically on the basis of my God told me that this is what is right and this is what...
To be honest with you, ma'am, this country is built off Christian ethics, all right? So honestly, you already doing it without you knowing without you admitting that you're doing it. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal because there's consequences to stealing and things of that nature. You kind of appealing to the Christian ethics anyway. And mind you, those Christian ethics is protecting your free speech, right? Like, you are in a country that values your opinion even though you aren't a Christian because we allow it. But you're appealing to Christian ethics in this country without even admitting it. And it's funny to me. You don't even see it. But privilege is invisible to those that have it, okay?
Should be. Then now everyone who lives in that state with that abortion ban has to follow the rules of your God, regardless of whether or not they're a Christian. So that's my issue.
I would say no matter how you argue it, you're still going to be coming from someone's worldview and someone's morality.
Absolutely. So come from a secular morality. Don't force your religion onto other people. That's the problem.
Yeah, and
you want it your way. I don't believe in anything, so do it my way. That's a shit way of thinking, but y'all are so narcissistic and claim that men are narcissistic. It's absurd. Predominantly, this country is Christian. We don't need your secularist opinion. We don't give a fuck about you. I'm just being we do give a fuck about you. That's why you have an opinion and you're able to vote laws in that's fucking against Christianity for sure. But eventually that will end because we're seeing that this country is getting taken over by you motherfuckers, and our birth rate is so fucking low that we're importing people in here. We're importing people in here. Okay, it's sickening. It's sickening. But eventually, the tides will turn. You will be an old lady that has no children, hopefully, 30 cats, and you're just gonna die with no lineage. Your lineage don't carry on, and that's great. We don't need that anymore.
People do come from, I don't actually know of anyone who specifically uses religion to justify a pro-life argument.
Really? Yeah. I hear religion used to justify a pro-life argument quite constantly online, and it drives me crazy because I would really just like people to focus on secular ethics because that's what all of us are held to.
Right, but you said even if science said that human life begins at fertilization, you wouldn't be pro-life.
Yeah, because I'm also looking at the impacts of what pro-life legislation has done to women, and I don't fuck with it.
You have every right to not believe in God, but you do not have the right to act as God and decide who lives or dies.
Neither does the government, which is why they fucking shouldn't.
Neither does the government have the right to say who lives and who dies. Children are most innocent people that didn't deserve it, that don't deserve murder. They didn't do anything. You opened your fucking legs, but a person that murders other people, yeah, they're gonna get put down. We need to make an example out of them. Okay? But liberals are willing to kill their children but want murderers to live. That's just their mindset. This is how they work. Okay? That's just how they fucking work. They shit don't matter. Their logic doesn't even add up. But they get their loudest in the fucking room. It's nuts.
My next prompt is, Republicans are pro-birth, not pro-life.
Hi, Naima. I'm Danielle.
Hi, I'm
Look at
Nevaeh
her.
Souza.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
Heather
hey,
Wallace.
let's give it out. Let's give a Don DeMarco to a black woman that's
Don
feminine.
DeMarco, shit like
Come
that,
on.
shit like that.
I see the femininity, and it seems like the conservative individuals carry that femininity and wear it like they supposed to, man. Shout out to y'all, man. We love it.
Hi, I'm Eve.
Hi,
Come on,
Eve.
Let's go.
And all of
You enjoy cooking?
No, but I do it.
And if I told you that it can have
Shut up.
Okay, so my point, Republicans are pro-birth and not pro-life. I don't think to be a pro-lifer, you have to be part of a particular party. Let's establish that first.
true.
I know that there are Democrats who are pro-life, right? I know that there's Republicans, MAGA, Nazis,
But
term.
hold up. But there's more Republicans that's pro-life than it is Democrats because y'all pro-death. Democrats are pro-death.
Now conservative representatives in government claim to be pro-life have not followed through on that belief based on the legislation that they've created not only around abortion, but around pretty much every issue. So I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts about that.
Okay, I can go first. Hi, Naima.
Hi.
So I know when I was wrestling with abortion personally in my life, I really didn't care if somebody was on the left or the right when I was dealing with that. I know that I was broke. I was scared. I was unmarried. I felt so alone. I think the biggest thing, we brought up religion, but I think the biggest thing that I didn't know is 2 Timothy, where he says God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. I wish I would have known at the time. However, what I did notice, though, is that Republicans would lead in supporting pregnancy resource centers that gave formula, that gave wipes, diapers. And like I said, when I was struggling in this personally, I personally went through that. I seen that they led in supporting free wipes, free diapers, free formula, free clothing, free health assistance. Not only that, it's a place in Atlanta called City of Refuge who would help the mother up until her child graduates high school. I also seen Democrats fight aggressively for affordable health care, affordable child care, longer maternity leave. All of these things I feel is very much needed. So I look at Isaiah 1:17, where God says, defend the oppressed, take care of the fatherless. So God knew that it would be the
don't
poor.
take advantage though. That's what. Let's be real.
Bruh.
I'm kind of tired of taking care of you motherfuckers. I'm not gonna lie.
Among us, like myself at the time, that needed help. And I believe he wanted us all to work together. So I don't believe the viable alternative is to kill innocent human beings, because some people are pro-birth and not pro-life.
Okay, so I'll say it. I've said it once. I'll say it 100 times. I don't think abortion is murder. I think it's the prevention of the development of life, but I don't think it is yet a murder.
What the fuck is that? Oh my god, oh my god. There has to be something in these leftists' DNA. I mean, I'm just playing because there is some leftists that turn Republican. I get it, but they don't gotta be fucking Republican. But the way y'all think is fucking wild. You literally have to dodge logic 3 times before you get a word the fuck out. You say, yeah, I don't think it's death, but you know, it's kind of stopping the prevention of life. What the fuck is that called? I'm stopping you from breathing, nigga. I'm stopping you from living. What the Take the rights away, please.
Here is, you brought up something very interesting that I want to talk about, which is pregnancy crisis centers. So those anti-abortion pregnancy crisis centers, they've been popping up all over the country, right? And the issue with those, while I agree that the resources they provide are great, and I'm glad they helped you, the issue with those is a lot of those centers aren't actually medical clinics. So they're not actually run by doctors, right? And conservative lawmakers have basically tried to replace Planned Parenthood, which served a lot of those same needs that you were discussing, with these anti-abortion pregnancy crisis centers.
So the problem that she's having is that these people are not doctors. What the fuck is wrong with that? Just because they're not doctors, but they're helping women that's having children. What the fuck? Just because they're not doctors, but these fucking Planned Parenthood has doctors in there that want to murder your baby. Yeah, they want to help you murder your baby. But I have a problem with that because the other ones that help women that have children, they're not doctors. What the fuck is wrong with you? This little alien, bro. Fucking Trippy Blue.
Is another reason why, even if abortion were murder because we decided when life was, I still would be against it. These non-medical clinics have replaced Planned Parenthood, which is a medical clinic, which does help not just get abortions, but actual pregnant women who want to continue in their pregnancy.
Oh shit, go figures. You don't need Planned Parenthood because they, outside of abortions, other people could do the same things. Just outside of a fucking abortion. That's what you're mad about. You fucking lunatic.
They've replaced them. They've been advocating in several states for women to keep non-viable pregnancies, which is a pregnancy in which the fetus is definitively dead.
Are you referring to prenatal hospice?
Yes, I'm referring to prenatal hospice.
That has nothing to do with stillbirths. That's a completely different thing.
Prenatal hospice does have to do with stillbirths, and it has to do with fatal fetal anomalies. So for those watching at home, a fatal fetal anomaly is when a fetus is not viable to sustain life even post-birth, and it will die very shortly thereafter, right?
Yes, a fatal diagnosis as a baby is going to die after birth.
So these pregnancy crisis centers who have replaced Planned Parenthood have gotten a lot of conservative funding in states with total and near abortion bans, especially if you look at the state of Indiana, they have a pamphlet that they show any woman with a fatal fetal anomaly, encouraging her to deliver a dying baby. It says in the pamphlet, it's the most meaningful and beautiful thing you might do. I don't think watching your baby die. Fetal hospice is essentially making women a walking coffin.
No, do you know what it offers if you do choose to go with the hospice route?
You have to carry a dying baby to term.
Do you know what they offer you?
A dying fetus to term.
For the women, I personally know women who have had a fatal diagnosis for their baby. It's incredibly heartbreaking and tragic.
It is, which you should have the right to abort.
Exactly, and they do. They do, but do you know why
they
so many women choose
specifically
hospice?
Not to abort a fatal fetal anomaly?
But yes or no, do you know what they offer?
Disgusting.
Because I can tell you what it is that they offer.
Do you want to say it? Yes, by all means.
So 75 to 80% of couples will choose to go the hospice route because this was a baby they were planning on having. If you go the hospice route, this offers you an opportunity to bathe your baby, hold your baby, take photos. A lot of people do home births with candles, so it's really memorable.
Guys, I'm sorry.
That's your opinion, but have you ever lost a baby?
What's more fucked up? Killing your fucking you stopping it? You stopping the birth of your child, or you birthing a child that wasn't going to make it, but you wanted that fucking child? Which means it's like I don't have nothing to do with this baby's murder. It's gonna die. We understand that, but right now it's alive. But I don't have that baby's blood is not on my fucking hands. That's what that is. It's not on my fucking hands. Okay. I've done what I'm supposed to do as a person. I've laid down. I accepted the consequences. My baby didn't make it. The same thing as a person that has a baby that has a potential of being deformed a little bit. But some people still have that baby and take care of it for the time that they're alive. That's called being in the fucking door. I chose to lay down, but not all the time my kids might come out with all their fucking limbs. That's called being a fucking adult. Okay? I don't want to. You do have a choice. You know, the doctor could see that the baby might have a deformity. You could have a choice right then and there and say, you know what, I want to abort this child because that's selfish. Okay, or you could be a person and say, you know what, I still want to have this baby because that's still my baby. I'm gonna be human enough to understand that's still my fucking child, bro. But y'all are so fucking narcissistic that you claim that we are, men are, that y'all don't see it no other way but your way. It's fucking sick.
Right.
But
Have you
if
ever
you're in
lost
state
a baby?
that doesn't have if you're in a state, right? There are currently over 14 states that do not have an exception to their
Are you
pro-life.
judging the parents that choose to do that though? Because if you've never lost a baby,
But
that's
here's the thing.
incredibly
But here's the thing. I'm not
insensitive of
judging
you.
a parent who chooses to do it. But if you're in a
Then
state,
why is that messed up?
baby? If you're in a state that doesn't have an exception, then it's not a choice. Women who are delivering children who are 1,000% going to die now don't have a choice. They have to walk around with a dying baby inside of them and deliver that baby, which is a horrific,
But there's also a such thing called hope. These parents also have hope that their child's gonna make it. Miracles happen. Like these people are probably God-fearing people. Okay, until the baby is out of their stomach, they probably believe that that baby can make it. Like, we gonna do what we need to do. Maybe there's a miracle at the end of this tunnel. Not just unaliving it as soon as I hear it. Because y'all are murderers. The first thing you want to do is murder a child. So you're happy to do it. Thank you. Oh God, thank you. Murder. I can do that easily. Yes. Get it out of me. Hello? But there's people out there that actually want their fucking child. That actually grieve their child when their child comes out. That actually won't give their child up to science to have their child experimented on, their body parts sold in the dark market. Okay, there's people that actually give a fuck. How you gonna shame them from caring? They're not everybody has a dead soul like you, Mr. Trippy Red. What the fuck is wrong with you, gang? Fuck out of here.
like very traumatic event physically, and then watch that baby die.
Delivering
if the baby is already going to die post-birth, why should they not have the choice to abort it?
Because delivering their baby and getting to say goodbye to their baby and hold their baby and bond with their baby is healthier than killing their baby.
But do you
inside the
believe
womb.
that should be? It's not killing their baby.
Yes,
It's already
it is.
going to die.
But it's alive now. It's alive now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you believe that it should be a choice to carry a fatal fetal anomaly to term?
I do not believe that a woman should ever have the choice to kill her child.
So how is it pro-life if the fetus is going to die regardless?
Well, you
Because you didn't stop the process of life. You didn't cause it, bitch. You're the cause. The reason why that baby died is no longer fetal something syndrome, whatever the fuck it is. The cause is, bitch, you. You caused it. The blood is not on your fucking hands if you don't impede on the baby's growth. It's that simple. How can you not understand that? The baby's gonna die anyways. Got it. In this situation, I got it. But you're not the cause, bitch. That's simple. I get to live with myself now. Now that I didn't have anything to do with my child's dying. I did everything I could to make sure this baby come to term. Right? I get to live with that. But understanding that, yeah, this baby would have died outside the womb is going to happen, right? It's set in stone from what the doctor says. I didn't impede on this baby's living. This baby's I didn't impede on any process. I didn't cause this. I could live with that. But y'all living with murdering because y'all don't got no soul.
I want her to answer. I'm sorry, my love. I really want you to answer.
A
How
woman
is
should
it
never have the choice to kill her child.
But how is it pro-life if there is no life?
It is life.
It is alive.
But it's going to die.
So if you got cancer, should I just kill you now because you're gonna die? You might die.
No, but if I had terminal cancer and I wanted to euthanize myself, I wanted to do self-euthanasia, I think that should be a choice.
Well, I disagree with euthanasia also.
I don't think you can force anyone to carry a dying fetus to term. That to me is disgusting. And if the whole point
It's
is
actually
about
healthier for the woman and it
is
creates
absolutely
less
not. You don't get
trauma.
to decide what's healthy for a woman. That's
I'm
her
so
choice.
glad that you brought up
You
crisis.
just said that it's disgusting. You decided before that it's disgusting for bro. I will play it back, bitch. I don't got time, but bro, you literally said it's disgusting for a woman to carry a child that's gonna die to term. Right? You carried the child until it died, basically. How is that? You made a decision saying that it's disgusting. You making a decision saying that it should not be a thing. Why would you? You're shaming. And this lady saying that, like, no, it's better to not have somebody yank baby parts out your fucking woo-ha. All right? It's better not to take a pill to burn the child. Man, it's funny, man.
Pregnancy centers, though, and crisis pregnancy clinics, because I actually am the founder of one, and I help coach them and speak for them all across the country. And
Are you a doctor?
I'm not a doctor.
Exactly.
But I'm the founder of one. I'm the CEO of one, and I have a doctor that works for me. I have a nurse practitioner that works for me. Half of my payroll goes to paid medical staff that takes care of women. And
Let's give a fucking shout out to this lady.
Shit
like
that.
Bruh. In a world full of fucking death, we need women like you, man.
so thankful that we are replacing Planned Parenthood. There are over 3,000 pregnancy centers all across the country that are giving and providing the same care that Planned Parenthood does. My clinic offers every single thing that Planned Parenthood does except for abortion and transgender drugs.
Does your clinic offer birth control?
We refer for birth control and we do birth control education.
Good. That's great. There's a lot of clinics in this country that don't.
But my clinic does, and there's a lot of clinics that do.
And she want everything around her just to fucking die. That's all. It's a death code. Birth control. You guys don't do abortions. Where's the doctors at? Where's the murderer's doctor? Anything to destroy her credibility from saving fucking children. We're trying to stop you from being a demon, bitch. We're literally trying to stop you from killing your own fucking lineage. What the fuck is wrong with you? If anything, you can respect what the fuck I'm doing, bitch. I'm literally holding the knife saying, don't kill your fucking baby. That's your child. I gotta remind you over and over. Because you're sick. You're sick. Okay? Y'all cry. These liberals cry when other animals kill their babies. But they love to see a human do it.
We provide pap smears, we provide STD testing, we provide well woman exams, we provide cancer screenings, and we provide all the care that a woman needs, not only to take care of herself, but so she doesn't have to choose abortion.
What state are you?
I'm in Idaho. You looked me up on your
Instagram
the other night. Yeah.
I've been to Idaho, man. I love Idaho, by the way. Built a few elevators there, man. Love Idaho. I would love to live there if I could.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you did.
So,
but I want
to. Well, here I'm gonna let you respond in a second, but I want to talk about this. I'm sorry, because I'm really caught on the fatal fetal anomaly part of this.
Okay.
So at your clinic, if a woman comes into your clinic and says, I would like to seek abortive care because I just found out my baby is developing without a skull and without lungs.
Sure.
It will not survive outside of the womb, and I don't want to watch it die.
Sure.
Do you believe that she should be allowed to get an abortion in that instance?
I do not believe a woman should ever be able to kill her child inside the womb.
But why?
Because having her child inside her womb.
Not everybody is as murderous as you. Why can't you understand that? Why can't you just fucking give up? Not everybody want to murder not everybody want to partake in the murder of their child. No, not everybody wants that like you. You love it. Okay? This is sick, bro. How can't she just fucking stop and understand that? That's why. Not everybody's a fucking murderer, bitch.
Feeling her child develop and then having her child pass away naturally and delivering her child naturally is far less traumatic than going inside her womb and killing her child.
It's physically more traumatic and emotionally more traumatic. I would much rather, personally, like if we're going anecdotally, I would absolutely much rather have an abortion and not have to give birth and then watch my baby die. That's the most traumatic thing I could possibly imagine.
But that's a choice that the woman, when you have sex, like that's something that is a part of life. I was in that situation where I was diagnosed with something and the doctor let me know, hey, Danielle, this could possibly kill you and kill the baby, right? I had something with my placenta that was covering where the baby came out and I would bleed out. So they asked me, what did I want to do? And I had to understand that when I had sex, that came with it. It came with the favorable things, but it also came with the things that aren't so great as well. And I had to take accountability of, yes, I had sex, and in sex comes with birthing a child or having or being pregnant with a child, and everything is not perfect. Everything's not going to flow perfectly. Some things might happen. And also we have to give room for, like you said, if someone has a baby and they know that the baby could possibly die, we have to give room for miracles that can happen. It's like I've been through a lot. Also, I've had a child with her umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck twice.
I know. I was a child with an umbilical cord wrapped around. That's not a lethal diagnosis.
So we happy? I'm happy that you're sitting right here right now. I'm
Well,
happy
I was
that
a choice.
I'm
My
happy
mother
that
had the
my
choice to have me.
I'm happy that my baby is at home somewhere acting up. But even saying that, she had the opportunity to say, okay, a miracle is going to happen. So even if the skull is not developing, even though we know the skull is not developing, we have cases where it was healed within the womb. We have cases where children I had a friend who had heart surgery. The baby had heart surgery inside the womb.
What percentage of cases of fatal fetal anomalies does the baby end up surviving?
So I don't, if anybody knows the percentage of that, but I don't know.
No, we don't. That's the point.
But
It's
still,
a fatal fetal
it's
anomaly.
Yeah,
So
but it
kill it,
still
bitch.
doesn't say that we can intentionally kill a human being just because we don't have the percentage.
But here's the thing: if your whole
I can interject
argument
real
is
quick.
pro-life, 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 but the fetus is 1,000% going to die, it doesn't feel like pro-life. It feels like pro-birth, which is exactly the prompt. Now, I would love to hear from you. Yes.
Thank you so much. The reason I was sitting quiet because I just wanted to hear the conversation and where it would flow. One thing that I was kept thinking is that science can be wrong. The doctors can be wrong. As someone who was encountered various doctors who told me that I was different things, that I was going to be sick, who I was going to be crazy because of the things that I was experiencing, and here I am today doing better than I ever thought that I was. So I guess I'm curious, have you ever encountered a situation where you were talking to a doctor and they were saying something that was completely crazy and you made a decision differently from what they suggested?
No, and even if I had, it would be completely anecdotal and not relevant. But I mean,
You gave a whole bunch of anecdotal fucking. Who are you? I hope. See, the thing with liberals, they don't have the wherewithal to go back to those fucking debate videos or where they hosted at or whatever the fuck they were. Go back to that video and see how terrible they did. They don't have the wherewithal. I won. Shut up. I'm done. I don't want to see it anymore. Move on. That's. I mean, I don't know if it's just liberals. I know a lot of people that do that. Okay, let's be fair. But they have that a lot when they fucking are obnoxious and annoying as fuck, and then making shit up. They could watch it back and see where they lost at, or just to sharpen their argument or their debate skills. Just go back and see what the fuck you done. You saying, oh, it's anecdotal and try to brush it off as her experience doesn't matter, but you done that a lot during this fucking whole debate, and you validated your own anecdotal experiences as well. The fuck is wrong with you?
scientifically, the medical agreement that humans cannot survive without lungs, I think that's pretty fair. But
Well, sure, but
let's talk about a different. Let's talk about a different.
I was actually really wanting to say one. It's my only time I can ask, right?
Yeah, sure.
So
What's up?
you're saying that you talked about not having a skull, not having lungs, and those different things, but those are not like the only situations when when they believe the fetus is not going to make it, after they're born or different things like that. So the reason I'm curious about why this is like being the focus right now is because there's so many other cases and so many other instances when the fetus should be given an opportunity to be born.
Well, we're talking about pro-life, right, versus pro-birth. And I'm trying to point out that there is a hypocrisy in believing that a woman whose fetus is 1,000% going to die when it is born should still be forced to deliver that fetus. But that's what a fatal fetal
But earlier,
anomaly is.
someone mentioned that if 100%
just
of
what it is.
doctors said that or professionals said that life begins at fertilization, you would dismiss it and still keep your position. So if you don't agree with science then, why are you using science so strongly now?
Well, that science is the science of a hypothetical, right? And to that point, the reason why I would continue to dismiss it is because I've seen how these laws have restricted women's freedom and affected both the children born of mothers who did not want them and the mothers themselves. So going back to the whole prompt, Republicans are pro-birth and not pro-life. I want to talk about some different legislation that I believe is Republican legislation that does not align with the pro-life agenda, right? So I want to talk about the foster care system.
Now, when you say the pro-life agenda, what do you mean by that? Because we're all pro-life, so I feel like we should determine what that is, right?
Anti-abortion, believing that, abortion should not exist in any.
Then what you're about to say right now is not what all of us would agree on necessarily.
Okay, so are you against abortion, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay,
I
are you
think
against
we
abortion?
all are, right? Yes.
Okay, so the pro-life agenda, as we've spoken.
So then you're saying pro-life agenda is specifically is against abortion in all cases?
I'm just talking about the belief in trying to support and protect the lives of all people, which is how your movement and agenda has been described to me. Right. Is that a fair?
Yeah, that was the reason I was asking. 'Cause
Okay.
I wanted to clarify what you meant by the pro-life
mother
agenda.
and the baby.
Right. So clarifying that, I want to talk about the foster care system, because as we've seen, Trump, who claims to be pro-life, who is also a conservative, has just defunded the organization that runs the foster care system. Right? If we want all, aborted fetuses to get to be born, we could assume that there would be a lot of children who would have to now enter the foster care system, a system already known for having abuse and neglect reports of up to 40% of children currently in it.
That's why you defund them.
Why would someone who is pro-life, who is against abortion, defund a system that is protecting children once they're born?
You just answered. You literally just answered. The reason is because they're not doing their fucking job to protect children. It's that simple. Right? I don't know specifically why, but from what you said out your fucking mouth, why would I support and keep giving funding to a place to where, or an organization that takes children away and put them in a worse off situation than they were before? Obviously, they don't need the funding because they need all the money I've been giving them. They don't have the wherewithal to fucking fix the problem. They're just hiring these people that want children just for money. How about you? There's people out there that actually want children, that they're not getting these children, that actually will take care of the children that could afford them, sort of like the adoption process, but they're being overlooked, obviously for a fucking reason, right? You don't keep funding an organization that is broken. It's just that simple.
I actually agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you with that. And I think abortion doesn't solve issues that have nothing to do with abortion. So the foster care system has nothing to do with intentionally killing innocent human beings. So we actually need reform, not murder. Sorry, not murder. I didn't mean murder. Murder's a legal term. Murder. But I believe that we need reform, right? I believe that that is not okay, right? And also I believe, like I said earlier, Isaiah 1:17, I'll keep bringing this up, that we should defend the oppressed. So if he's defunding, then we need to be speaking up about that on the pro-life movement as well, saying that that's not okay. That's not okay at all. So I agree with you.
I appreciate that. How about a federally mandated
Trump derangement syndrome? She had to turn it into Trump. She had to.
maternity leave? How do you feel about that?
I'm in support.
You like that? Yes. Okay, cool. So do I. All right. How about universal health care? There we go. We found it. Okay, so I mean, here's the thing. It's very expensive to have a baby
like
if you're
a fucking Muppet, bro. A mop head. Bitch look like Trippy Blue. Bitch like Lil Bow Wow. Bitch look like fucking Lil Mama, Lil Cousin.
Insured. Trump made immediate cuts in the big beautiful bill to roughly $46 billion in healthcare, right?
Stop
a lot
stealing.
of that healthcare goes to families.
Stop stealing.
If we want
Stop
to
stealing.
protect life and not just force people to give birth, why wouldn't we be in favor of a more robust healthcare system for all, even those who can't afford it?
Well, you use the word force, so we're not forcing people. I think forcing people, you know how when they sent guys off for the draft, right? They would force them to go to the military. But forcing sex is a choice, and I'm not saying in all situations, but I'm talking about elected abortions. Sex is a choice, so
No,
nobody's
it's not.
forcing you to have sex. You have birth control pill. You actually have the O pill that just was FDA approved, that you do not need a prescription for, that is $15 that anybody can get. So it's not forcing you to
I'm sorry,
have
but
a
there's
baby.
13 states that don't have exceptions in the case of rape and incest. In those states, there have been 65,000 women who've become pregnant through rape. So it can be.
But why do y'all keep using these women's plights to justify y'all abortions? Like, abortions don't usually happen just because somebody got raped. It's because y'all having too much fun out there with that cooter cat. Y'all out there fucking. Stop playing. You got this. This is the best case of fucking. The best case of preventing unwanted pregnancies. Just keep your legs closed. Accountability. Keep your fucking legs closed. That's simple. Stop fucking on everybody. Stop putting your cooter cat on. Stop rubbing your coochie on everybody. God dang it. Jesus Christ. It's simple. You can solve it within a fucking day. All you gotta do is look in the mirror and say, bitch, stop fucking everybody. Just stop. Because I don't know them. The last nigga, you probably don't know them, bitch. Come on now. Be real.
Forced, I think that's a little bit of a more nuanced concept.
But don't y'all think it's more evil for these women to keep using like rape women's plight to justify abortion when that doesn't really happen that way. I'm not trying to take away the severity of being raped and having a child. I'm not trying to take that away. Of course, that's that guy who did that should be hung for sure and publicly hung. All right, make an example out of him to make sure every rapist mindset should be scared, right? But the thing is that isn't it wicked for women to keep these women as pro-abortionists, right? To keep using extremist situation to justify why they would allow abortions, knowing damn well that's mostly not the cause of why they do it. And if they did make that a standard, right? If conservative individuals, right, or Christian individuals allowed that argument and say, you know what, let's make that a standard, no abortion unless this happens. Guess how many women that would come up with lies just to justify their abortion? They lie anyways about a guy raping them or things of that nature whenever it benefits them, if they want to make the man look crazy. Imagine if a woman wants an abortion, right? She didn't get raped. It was ultimately consensual, but she knows it's not going to work with that guy that she had sex with. They're not really into him. They're not really into each other like that, but they had a fun time, right, that night. But she knows the only way she can get an abortion is by claiming that he raped her in a way. Do you not know do you not know that percentage of women that you said got raped will go up exponentially just because they know that's the criteria of an abortion? That's the only way you're going to get it. They will fucking lie. And it's been proven women will lie, cheat, and steal to get what the fuck they want. They will use other women's plight, right? They will bring it to the extreme to get what the fuck they want. Okay? There's no morals because like her herself, she don't have a moral high ground. Lying, it does not hurt them. All right, killing an innocent child does not hurt them. They don't. Lindsay Clancy, they don't care. They don't give a fuck. You're living amongst them. They will swear on the Bible, right hand on the Bible, and don't believe in one fucking word that they said. We're living amongst these people, okay? That's straight away from what's good in morality, but they want to tell you what's moral. So why would we grant that argument for unaliving children when I know that in your heart, and I know that, yeah, I'm surprised you still have one, but in your soul, if you wanted an abortion, you would play that role to get what you want, not caring if it didn't really happen to you. Just wanting that abortion is the motive to why you would say some stuff like that.
See, from rape and incest aren't any less valuable than babies that are not.
So you do believe that women who are forced into pregnancy. So actually, that's actually an interesting point that I want to bring up. So let's look at the states with the strictest abortion laws, right? Total ban states, trigger ban states. In these states, girls ages 12 and up can be forced to give birth to a child that was conceived through rape and incest, right? At any point in the pregnancy. So if you're in the state of Tennessee and you're a 12-year-old girl, you can get raped by your own father and then be forced to give birth to this child. And ideally, the father who raped you would be in jail, right? So now you're a 12-year-old who's a single mother raising a kid that you never wanted and had zero choice to conceive. Can you really look me in the eyes and tell me that that is constitutional or moral in any way? Not you, her.
I can tell you that that baby conceived by that 12-year-old in her womb was put there by God, and that baby's life is just as valuable as a baby conceived in a marriage bed by two loving, consenting adults. Absolutely.
So she's morally consistent. That's all it is, right? And these people will try to bring it to the extreme to morally test you, knowing damn well they don't have any morals. They're not rooted in anything. They don't believe in shit, okay? Their belief is science. Science until it's not. Okay, they have the wherewithal to wiggle around and shit and play games and believe shit, don't believe it. Okay, but they want to, when it comes to being a Christian, when it comes to you being morally consistent, they hate you. Okay, that's what this is.
So you would force her to give birth to that child that she has zero interest in keeping, destroying her life?
I do not think that she should be able to abort that child.
Here's my question.
Simple. Leave it alone.
What would you say to the 12-year-old she's sitting right here? Mm-hmm. She was just raped by her father And now she has to carry this baby. She's got to drop out of middle school.
She doesn't have to drop out.
Well, to raise a child, you ideally would need to not be in middle school. She doesn't want to give birth to this kid. She has no desire to have this baby. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to her. She is sobbing. This is the worst moment of her life. She's sitting right here. What would you say to her?
I would tell her that I'm so sorry that that happened to you, and I'm so sorry that your body was violated that way, and I'm so sorry that you're hurting this way, but I can promise you that I'm going to walk with you through this, and you will not be alone, and you will have support, and we will help you to get through this, and we will get through this together, and you will not have to do this alone.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it?
There would be more after that, but that's what I'd say to her at first.
And she says, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. This is not what I want in my life.
Your
So
perfect
if that's the
domain
case, if she
is out
doesn't want
there.
to do that with her life, why would she even come to that lady? Why would she come to that lady that's a pro-life person that will want her to have the child and will guide her into having the child and make sure that she's not alone, right? The baby did nothing wrong. The father did. He should be hung, burned. He should be publicly executed, right? Hung, burned, right, to death. But that baby inside her did nothing. Okay, that's being morally consistent. I don't give a fuck what you believe or what you don't believe. All right, that's called being morally consistent. I said I don't want babies being murdered. Okay, what about this? I said I don't want babies being murdered. Okay, what about this? Extreme to make you seem bad, but you're actually fighting for a person that looked just like you. That was just as innocent as you when you were in the baby's position. She's fighting for a life, right? She's fighting for a life. How wrong could you be, right? An innocent life at that had nothing to do with anything. It's funny to me. If you were in that baby's position, you would want to live, right?
We could bring it back to crisis pregnancy centers just a little bit.
Yes.
I would like to talk about how, so we can agree that the free resources that they provide are valuable.
I would not agree that in every state. I'm sure your crisis pregnancy center that doesn't let rape victims get abortions is great, but no, across the country, I would not say. I mean, a lot of them are run by religious.
Are you anti-free resources for women who need them, though?
I'm not anti-free resources for women who need them, but I am anti those resources replacing medical clinics.
Okay,
like, if we look at the state of Alabama.
If we can go back to Planned Parenthood really quickly.
Yes, if we look at the state of Alabama, there is one Planned Parenthood in the entire state.
But what comparable long-time support does Planned Parenthood offer women? If a pregnant woman goes into a Planned Parenthood and she says, I don't know what to do, I'm in a tough situation, should she be informed on all the resources that are available to her with adoption, with financial aid, with baby supplies, with child care, with counseling?
I mean, look, first of all, only 2 to 4% of families in this country get adoptions. There's very few resources on it, but absolutely they should make those resources available. But
why doesn't Planned Parenthood do that if it's about women's rights and actual true options? Because that's a false choice if you're not offering her.
She's playing with words. She's playing on the gray area, bro. They majority do. All right, their majority of their services is abortion, from what I believe. Right, this is just me spitballing it, because when you think of Planned Parenthood, you don't think about anything good other than them aborting your child. If you want to go for abortions, you go there. It's like eating a burger. If you want to eat burger, go to Burger King, right? That's what they're known for. Let's stop fucking playing games. Let's just stop. All right? Let's stop. Let's stop trying to basically moralize a demoralized thing. Stop trying to do that. All right, stop trying to put paint where it ain't. That's what we call that in Cali. You're putting paint where it ain't. When you start doing that, I don't believe you no more, because they're known for abortions. Leave it there. All right, they might do other shit outside that don't fucking matter, but that's what the fuck they're known for. So if I'm going there, usually I'm going for a fucking abortion. All right, let's stop playing them games. When you start playing games, you lose credibility.
Actual options. If she comes in, she's like, I'm in a tough situation. You say abortion is the solution, and if you walk out the door and you don't have an abortion, we can't service you. That's not a billable procedure anymore.
That is not true. Planned Parenthood.
There is an incentive there.
What's the second word of Planned Parenthood?
But what do they do if you're pregnant and you don't want an abortion?
If you're pregnant and you want an abortion, they will
if you
give
don't,
if you don't, then they'll help you with your pregnancy.
How?
Yes, it's a medical clinic.
How?
They don't
How do they
offer.
help them?
Yes, guys, I'm sorry. Planned Parenthood is a medical clinic that does offer women support throughout a pregnancy, and it also offers women birth control so that we can prevent women from being in this situation.
But you just said they help with
You got the best form of birth control at your fucking leisure. Close your fucking legs. Done.
Parenthood. How do they help with that?
Birth control.
How does Planned Parenthood? Well, I'm not pregnant.
But you got every
My next
answer.
prompt is: abortion bans violate women's constitutional rights.
Hi, I'm Lydia.
I'm Erin.
I'm Michelle.
I'm Liana.
Okay, so my prompt: abortion bans violate women's constitutional rights. Obviously, I'm referring to the 14th Amendment. You know, life, liberty, with due process, right? So that's the rights that I am mainly focused on in this debate. Now, I do believe that a woman has those rights above the rights and the needs of a fetus because a fetus is relying on her body for nutrients and is dependent on her. So her inalienable rights take priority in this circumstance.
Do you think a child's dependency on their parents to survive should be a death sentence?
Well, here's the thing. A child doesn't simply depend on their parents. While children are more dependent on adults than, like, you know, a full adult like you or me, they're not dependent on one specific person. So if an adult, right, believes I no longer have the capacity to care for this child, they have options. So their freedom and liberty is not being infringed upon.
So what about in other countries where there's sadly not adoption, no formula, in remote villages where there's no other breastfeeding moms? If a mother has a newborn, the newborn is solely dependent on her body. Do you think she should be able to kill her newborn since it's solely dependent on her body for survival?
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44.
That work. They trying to stop her from getting that word. That word. Shut up.
Countries, sadly, I wish this wasn't the case, but there is a lack of formula, adoption, resources, other breastfeeding moms to take care of babies. If a mother has a newborn baby, the baby is solely dependent on her body, her breast milk to survive. She can't just feed it steak. So should she be able to kill her newborn baby since it's fully dependent on her body to survive?
If there were no other breastfeeding mothers and
yes,
no
this is sadly a
formula.
common thing.
I mean, sadly, I think the infant mortality rates in those places are just a lot
which is sad,
higher, right? But in that instance, I would absolutely say she should have the right to get an abortion before that child is born if she knows that she does not have the resources to care for that child.
Should she be able to kill her newborn baby since that newborn baby is equally dependent on her body as a preborn baby who's also dependent on her body?
It's still not equally dependent on her body. It's just dependent. I'm not really
No,
sure.
it is. She's alone.
What place in the world are you saying there are zero other adults who can care?
I mean, I've done a lot of
child?
work, sadly, in other countries where this is the case. I visited these remote villages and tried to get supplies and help for these people in need. And it is sadly a thing. I mean, even here in America, a mom could get snowed in alone with her newborn baby. By your logic, she should be able to kill her newborn baby since it's fully dependent on her body alone.
That's a temporary condition.
And so is pregnancy.
That's not, well, no, a fetus is permanently incapable of sustaining itself until it.
You literally said the same shit she just said, you dumbass. She fucking retarded.
It is viable, right?
Well,
So
viability is based on
pregnancy
medical
by
advancements, though.
definition.
But, okay, so 100 years ago, viability was about 30 weeks. Now, obviously, it's 20 to 21, and hopefully in another 100 years, it'll be even earlier. Are you saying we should base human rights on how good our medical advancements are?
Should we base human rights on how good our medical is? No, Diva, I'm confused about the hypothetical because if you're in a remote village in which there's zero resources, chances are that child is going to die without you having to specifically
she just
murder your
breastfeeds
child.
the baby. She takes care of it.
But
Like,
if she just said the same argument that we were talking about when it comes to the baby being dead, the baby dying in the womb, right? Your baby gonna die anyways. Why do you need to murder it? You said the same exact thing. See, you know logic. You're just stupid as fuck.
Doesn't have the resources. Like if she doesn't have any food, then she's
well,
not
she
going to
has
produce
food for
any
herself, but you
breast
can't
milk.
feed a newborn steak, right? Like newborns have to survive off breast milk at least for the first 6 months, and so she is fully the only one that is able to care for this baby. And by your logic, you said if a baby
I'm not really buying this hypothetical. I'm sorry, man.
why? But you literally said a preborn baby. The reason why we can kill that preborn human being.
That's why it's a hypothetical.
And no, but it's even reality too. That is a real situation.
Why don't we focus on reality? And why don't we
It is
focus
reality.
I mean, those people aren't, like, they don't follow our Constitution, right?
You can't answer it because you're realizing that it's defeating your logic because your whole
It doesn't
argument.
defeat my logic because we're talking about constitutional rights of humans in this country.
Yes,
Can I actually bring it back to the Constitution very quickly?
Absolutely. I would much rather talk about that than
my
some
question
random
is,
village in Africa.
where does the word abortion appear in the Constitution?
Where does the word? It doesn't.
It doesn't. So where are you grounding a right to abortion in the 14th Amendment?
In the 14th Amendment, the right to life and liberty.
Okay, so why are
with
you
due
defining
process.
life and liberty to mean a right to abortion? Because on the face of it, it seems like life seems to support our position.
Right.
So why does liberty mean a right to abortion?
She's
What
making
are
it
you
up.
using to interpret the Constitution?
Well, because liberty is what one does with their body, right?
That's not a constitutional. You're not interpreting.
Yes, that is what freedom. I mean, how do you define
What
liberty?
is what is the role of a judge in your opinion?
Would you define liberty to be? Well, a judge is due process, right?
No,
so
a
that's
judge is not
past.
due
You've
process.
now passed due process.
A
yes.
judge's role is to interpret the law.
Yes,
A judge's
exactly.
role is not to write the law. So let me just
So that would
so
be
your definition,
past the point of due process, right?
Your definition of liberty that you posit for this particular, you're interpreting the 14th Amendment. You can't just give me what you personally feel liberty ought to mean, because that's just not how our system of government works.
Facts.
You have to appeal to, as we've talked about in this entire debate, a right that is unenumerated in the Constitution, like the right to abortion. It's an unenumerated right. The word abortion doesn't appear. You're grounding it in the right to liberty. But why should I believe your definition of liberty over anybody else's?
So then how do you define liberty?
Well, as the Supreme Court determined in its recent Glucksberg decision, or in the 90s, that a unenumerated right has to be deeply rooted in American history and tradition. Okay, so
okay,
that's
you
how
guys keep going back to that
Because
but
you're talking
liberty
about
is
the-
defined as bodily autonomy. There's a synonym.
It's not defined as bodily autonomy in accordance
Make
with
your
the
shit up.
way that the framers understood what the constitutional amendments and rights ought to be interpreted to mean. And applied
Well, the framers didn't write the 14th Amendment. It's a Reconstruction Amendment. But going back to that, so right, we talk about liberty without.
Don't deviate. Little bow wow. Little bow wow. You just don't know. I move so fast across the floor. She's trying to move fast across the floor. Answer the fucking question.
If liberty meant at the
let's
time
talk
that
about that,
let me just ask one question. If liberty meant
ask
a
them.
right to abortion, that at the time that the 14th Amendment was ratified, why is it that 28 out of 37 states had laws banning abortion, 30 out of 38 had laws regulating abortion, and in their statutory language, they used words like unborn child and called abortion a violation of human persons?
That's a great question because they want to control women's bodies.
So hold on. So
They are
you're
trying-
She's interpreted it the way she wants to interpret it, and that's law. Because she thinks that she is the same way as it's the same way as anybody that wants to believe something, wants to believe it heavily. They will find a way to get rid of anything logical in their brains to justify what they want to fucking believe and do away with everything else that makes sense. I don't give a fuck. I believe this because they want to control women's body. Okay, it's about the woman now. It's not about the baby. It's about the woman. You know, if the government really wanted to control women's bodies, that they actually fucking could. Like they don't have to go around town and duck hide if they truly really wanted to control women the way you're trying to make it seem, as these feminist lunatics are trying to make it seem. They could actually fucking do it. They don't have to beat around the bush and play around with you. They could fucking do it easily. Okay? Stop acting like people are after women because this is the most of y'all existence. Y'all champion this mindset to where it makes you relevant. Okay? I promise you, nobody's after you. When we want you to stop having an abortion, we're not targeting you. We just want you to stop killing yourself. Right? Stop being a fucking cannibal. Stop being a murderous monster. Stop being a serial killer. Okay? It's easy for a human mind to devalue another human. And this is what we're trying to make you stop doing. Because if we live in a world full of you, all it is one step to believing that you're not human. Okay? It's just that simple. All it is one step to believing that you're not human. Because I don't believe in God and your logic. I don't believe in anything. Okay? I believe in the Constitution. Well, the Constitution changes based on who's in power and who in popular belief at the time. So if I don't believe that dumb liberal women are humans and I can abort them from society, who's going to stop me? Hope you understand that. I hope you can run with that. I hope you can live with what I just told you. You don't want a society full of yous, because it can't live. That society dies immediately. And you're a part of it. You would die with it.
I don't
Women's
care
freedom,
what you
yes.
do with your body. I support your liberty, but a preborn baby has their own body, their own fingers, their own toes. They deserve their own bodily autonomy the moment their life
let's talk
begins.
about
Hold on, Naima, because
actually
they're
impacted
hold on,
women.
hold on,
Well, I
because
wanna
they're talking.
respond to her
they're-
claim. Okay,
You're
sure,
evading the
yeah.
Yeah, you're evading the question because we're talking about legal precedents
Well, no, she
and we're
kinda
talking about constitutional rulings, and you're just saying that you don't agree with it, which is fine. We just want to know why you don't agree with it.
Well, because I believe, and as it is defined in the Constitution, liberty would include bodily autonomy, right?
Based on- that's the keyword, you
that's
believe.
just what it
You
means.
believe.
But okay, are you going to let me finish? You asked me a question. Would you like me to answer it? Absolutely, right? So
we live
liberty
life off
includes
of,
the right to
Naima's
bodily
interpretation
autonomy,
of everything.
unless with due process, right? So we actually respect that we lose bodily autonomy, right? In certain instances as a punishment for a crime, right? If you murder someone, you go to jail. And we all accept and agree with that. You have lost the privilege of liberty and bodily autonomy because you have committed a crime and you have been processed in a court of law. But having unprotected sex is not a crime. And it is the only time in which someone loses the right to decide what happens to their body. The state gains control of their body, denying them liberty for something that is not a crime. It is not processed as a crime.
It's not a crime, but if you go gambling and you go gambling on something that you're 99% sure you're going to win, so you put all your money down and you somehow have really bad luck and you lose, can you just say, oh, I didn't consent to losing and refuse to pay up? No, because you consented to an action that does have consequences. So when you consent,
I love these women, man.
Dom DeMarco, shit like that, shit like
Accountability.
that, shit like that.
All it is accountability, and it seems like liberals are having that as an issue, right?
to sex.
Bring 'em-
Yes,
bring-
you might
bring 'em
not want a
accountability.
child, but you are aware, we all took sex ed, that sex creates babies. And
Well,
therefore
not
you have
everyone
to-
did take
Shut
sex
up,
ed,
it's not- it's
but
moot. Be
I
quiet.
would
We don't care
love
about
for
that.
people to be educated that sex creates babies. Most people understand that though.
I
or
agree.
They should. And you have to take responsibility for the child that's created. That's not a violation of your personal liberty under the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment protects preborn babies' right to life.
No, it absolutely is a violation of your personal liberty under the 14th Amendment, and it's specifically a violation of women because men are engaging in that unprotected sex as well. Men are taking that same risk.
And
But
and child support should begin at conception.
But their body is not being controlled by the state, right? Because they're incapable of becoming pregnant. They do not have to face the same consequence of having the state legally control what happens to your body as a woman. But
See, this is how stupid you are, and this is how narcissistic you are. Men are controlled in other ways. We got to protect your fucking rights, no matter if we feel like it or not. Vietnam War, that's post-slavery, right? Segregation. Black people still have to participate in that to be citizens. Okay, if you or go to fucking jail. Cassius Clay, i.e. Ali. Okay, if you don't do it, you're going to go to jail. You're going to get something for not participating in this country. Bodily autonomy, my ass. Men don't have that. Because any time when we want to fight, if Trump wants us to fight for Israel out in Iran, you will fucking do it. There ain't no fucking choice for you. I don't give a fuck what you think. You can be pro fucking Biden, pro Hillary Clinton. Get your ass on, get in that main line, baby. Do some push-ups. Get ready. Aim good. Let me see your aim. Good. Now use it on them. Whatever I just taught you, use it over there. Yes. The thing is that y'all, like I said, privilege is invisible to those who have it. Y'all have too much bodily autonomy to where y'all don't got nothing disturbing y'all from y'all peace, but y'all got everything to say. Y'all the loudest in the fucking country, but y'all don't have any accountability. Y'all don't have any responsibility to keep this country the way it is. Okay? All we asking you to do is don't kill your fucking child, bro. That's literally what we asking you to do. You ain't gotta have the same morals as me. You ain't gotta do this. You ain't gotta. This don't fucking kill your baby. It's not controlling your fucking body. I'm stopping you from murdering another fucking human. We all don't have bodily autonomy over our fucking. We all don't have bodily autonomy because we can't murder who we want to murder. I can't touch who don't want me touching them. I can't impose my will on other people. We all don't have that. We're all under the law. We all have certain standards. If you want to participate in society, you got to abide by these standards. Sometimes I don't want to abide by it because I see a nigga out there bothering people. I might want to sock him in his fucking face. But guess what? I can't. By the legal time. Okay, so guess what's stopping me from doing what I want to do? The government. All right? I might want to, I'm from South Central. I used to gangbang. All right? I still see an op. I see an op outside. I might want to get at him. But I know if I do, I'm going to jail. What's stopping me is that big boy government, big brother. Big brother's stopping me. So when it comes to you being a fucking murderous ass mother, or you're not a mother, you're a black widow, a murderous ass person. If the government stops you from murdering your child, good riddance. Sorry, that's the worst thing you could ever do. Just don't murder your kids. That's the worst thing ever I could put you through. Outside of war, not come back home because I done got killed in somebody else's war, because that's my due diligence to society, due to who's in power, due to me being a U.S. citizen. You having your own baby that you chose to lay down and get put up in you is the worst thing that could ever happen to a woman, right? You forced. When you chose to lay down, it's crazy.
Let's talk about the consequences of some of this legislation, because, we keep speaking about the theory and the theoretics of what's right and what's wrong.
These aren't theories. These are in the Constitution.
Your
What's
claim
not
is that
I'm sorry,
abortion...
they're not in the Constitution, but they're legal precedents.
Well, I'm talking about throughout this entire debate.
Your claim is that
not
abortion
used
bans
specific-
violate the Constitution. It's not about the effects of abortion bans. So how do you define
It is about the
abortion?
effects of abortion bans, because if abortion bans are limiting women's constitutional rights, it's something that we should consider.
Yeah, but we're disagreeing that that's a constitutional right, and you've yet
You
to
don't have a
actually
right to
establish
murder.
why liberty, in accordance with your definition, should be interpreted that way. That's a very good argument to make to a policymaker. That's not the argument you would bring to a judge or a justice who is tasked with interpreting the law. In order to prevent justices from invoking their own personal, moral, or religious opinions on the rest of the American people, that is why unenumerated rights have to be deeply rooted in American history and tradition, because judges are not supposed to enact their own personal opinions and remove topics that are debatable from the democratic process. They're supposed to interpret the law, and if there's a debatable topic about how do we define liberty, the best way to go about that is to define it in accordance with how American history and tradition has interpreted that in the past.
Which we are doing. And you noted, we're having, this is not a policy debate. What I want to have.
Come on. Thank you guys for hanging with me for fucking 2 fucking hours. Donna Marco.
Dom DeMarco, shit like that.
We almost done, man. Fuck, man. It's been a while, bro. I ain't done. It's been a while. We're gonna do it again tomorrow. Not no 2 though. A two? Damn, man. I don't give a fuck who. And wherever you at, man, I appreciate you for watching, man. Rocking it out with me, man. Y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all here with me, man. We gonna watch a little bit more because I want y'all to see how they tell her about Margaret Sanger and she just denies it. Who's that? It don't smell right. Deny.
Debate.
Then you shouldn't have made your prompt about the Constitution and conflate two different separate branches of
abortion
government.
bans are what? They are policy. They are legal policy that has been enacted across states in this country. So I am having a policy debate. If you want to say that pro-life or your beliefs is constitutional, that's one thing. I'm talking about the actual bans that exist.
But your claim is that those policies are unconstitutional.
If a woman does not consent to sex and is raped in a state where that is okay, right? In a state that has a total ban, at no point, and then is forced to give birth, or a child, right? Because it starts at 12 plus, at no point has she had freedom to decide what happens to her body. And you claim that sex is just a consequence. This is a consequence of choosing to have sex. But for that woman or girl, it's not.
Stop bringing her up. It's not your plight. Stop bringing her shit up, bruh. Stop using everybody else's shit to be a fucking demonic whore. Stop. You are not as caring as y'all say y'all are, because y'all wouldn't bring up other people's plight to justify why the fuck y'all have most abortions. Y'all do it because y'all getting fucked out here in these streets. Y'all getting fucked. Legs up. Getting dogged by the dude that you say you don't like. You want a good guy. The bad guy's impregnating you. You don't like that you lost because he don't want you. That's the main reason. Stop bringing up these people like you give a fuck. You don't care. You're not fighting for them. You're using their plight to justify why you want easily accessible murder to your child. Stop it. Cut it out.
This is, first of all, I never want a woman to become pregnant from sexual assault. Let's be very clear. I'm not.
Well,
just
65,000 did in
Yes,
states
and
in
that's
which
very
they don't
sad.
have rights.
But-
Those
but
women's
let me
constitutional
finish.
rights have
Let me
been
finish.
violated. The
I agree. Those women have been violated. But the solution to the abuse that she has endured is not to add more trauma through abortion, because we know abortion is traumatic.
No.
Once you're pregnant, you do have to birth a baby one way or another. With abortion, it's a forced and violent birth of a baby who's ripped from the womb.
I'm
Whereas
sorry,
I
what do
want
you
a
think an
safe and
abortion
healthy-
is?
I can go through the abortion procedures.
Okay, well, but I just really want to respond to this claim, because this language of like it's been ripped from the womb. Guys, it's a pill. For those in the first
That's
trimester,
one of
it
them.
is often a pill
that starves the baby of nutrients, and then women see their baby in the toilet.
No, it blocks the hormone that allows
Yes,
for
the
pregnancy to
nutrients. It
continue.
starves the baby of their nutrients, and then women endure severe cramping. 32 women have died from the chemical abortion pill, and they see their baby in the
deny
toilet,
it.
sometimes still alive. And women have been traumatized by this. Are you going to invalidate the true stories and trauma of these women?
Do you want to talk about the stories of trauma of women?
I'm happy.
So, oh my God, yes, teed me right up. That was perfect. And then I do want to hear from you, because I haven't heard you speak yet. So when we talk about abortion bans in
See, when
states,
she
we're
loses
talking
the
about
debate,
total.
she has to gain back control. I'm good. Yes, let's really get into it, bitch. You got beat. You got beat the fuck up. Drop a bomb. You can get your ass whooped. You gotta keep you on the ropes, bitch. Not act like you in control. You lost.
Bans, right? These are what I want to talk about. I
fuck
believe
outta
that these are what are unconstitutional, right? So in many states, because abortion has become criminalized, right? There's become an issue with women who are miscarrying now being criminalized.
That's incorrect.
Okay, let's talk about some examples. Marsha Jones in 2019 was charged with manslaughter after being shot in the stomach and miscarried, right? Renee Gibbs, a 16-year-old in 2014, faced a life sentence for murder after having a stillborn in Mississippi. Brittany Watts in 2023 was charged with abuse of a corpse after
Abuse of
she
a corpse.
miscarried at home, right?
Do you hear that they're not being charged with miscarriage, they're being charged with abuse of a corpse? Because when you have
So
a baby...
this legislation and that language is very specific. Because pro-life legislatures know that nobody wants to charge pregnant women, and their voters are not going to support that, they will charge women with crimes related,
No, it's
but
because
not actually
you can't
abortion.
flush corpses down the toilet. That's why. Like in one of those cases,
Yes,
the
you
baby
can,
literally
if it's a
clogged up the
fetus.
toilet because it was a fully formed baby, and they found it. You can't just dispose.
I think you should go back on that
body
one,
that
Marla.
way. No, absolutely. That's
I wouldn't.
exactly what that happened.
Okay, so what about the woman charged with manslaughter after she got shot in the stomach? and
Which was
miscarried?
she
Marsha
was-
Jones. She was shot in the stomach by another person. Didn't shoot herself. Another person in Alabama shot her in the stomach, and she was charged with manslaughter.
I have no idea how that happened, but I don't know if you're telling
That's
the full story,
the
but I would
point.
love
It's
to hear.
unconstitutional.
No, because
These
every single
bans are
pro-life
limiting
law,
women's freedom.
Every single pro-life law explicitly states that women should be able to get care for miscarriages and for medical emergencies.
Right.
every
So these
time.
exceptions are actually written in partnerships with organizations like what she runs, with the Charlotte Lotsier Institute, right, with other pro-life organizations. And these exceptions are written specifically so that they fail, but conservative lawmakers don't look bad.
I'm in my 30s trying to eat more protein. This is what I got from Factor this week. Full week of hitting my protein goals with real meals. Not
For writing intentionally failed exceptions. I'll give you an example. In states that have an exception for rape and incest, one of the biggest way, the only way in those states to use that exception is if you report that rape to the police,
Okay,
right?
so this is
now,
what I got for she said something about Marsha Jones where she was charged with manslaughter for her fetus getting shot by somebody else, right? But this is what they say. I looked it up. Courthouse News Service, right? You can look it up on Google. I could put this up, but this is what I got. All right, this photo, which is they took her mugshot by Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, shows Marsha Jones, whose fetus died after she was shot in a fight, has been charged with manslaughter, while the woman accused of shooting her has been freed. So what that tells me straight up is that she caused it. She started a fucking fight. All right, and all right, let me finish what it says. She has been freed. She was indicted by the Jefferson County Grand Jury Wednesday, June 26, 2019, right? She was 5 months pregnant when 23-year-old Ebony Jamison shot her in the stomach during a December altercation regarding the fetus's father. All right? So two things. What that proves is that fetus is alive, right? Because manslaughter, right? You can't get charged with manslaughter. if that fetus isn't alive, right? You brought that up, which has destroyed your point because you're using it as a weapon as opposed to not understanding that it destroys your point that a fetus is not alive and you can abort it at any time, right? So it's funny how you look fucking stupid again. Now, the woman that was she was charged for her own child unaliving, murder, right? Because obviously she started the shit, right? She's fighting over the father, the baby's father, all right? The fetus's father, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So she's not giving the context of the conversation of the situation of the case because she's being disingenuous, which means she's lying. Okay, she was charged because she started the shit. Woman was freed for shooting her in her stomach. Why? Because it was self-defense. Obviously, why else would they fucking free her? See that type of shit right there. The misinformation and disinformation. They love to say that shit, but they do it all the fucking time. You have a phone, right? All the names that she said. I can't do it right now. We on live. I'm trying to respect y'all time. I did it once. Okay? Fuck what I'm saying. You can look this shit up yourself, right? Her name is Marshae Jones. Marshae Jones. Spelled regularly. If you want to figure out this bitch is lying, what she was, because she's not giving the full context of the situation, she made women get in her emotions like, oh, you know, I feel bad for her. I didn't want that. She chose to do that on purpose because they don't have phones there. But we do. We are the leader of us not being there in the moment of the debate. So we can look this shit up. Look up what she said and see if it makes sense, right? This woman was discharged because her fetus just got shot in her stomach. She got charged by her own stuff. They don't like justice, period, anyways. Justice is not their criteria. They don't like justice for anything. All right? But she looks stupid on both sides.
A lot of rapes go unreported because it can be dangerous for the victim. It can be dangerous for her family, right? She doesn't want to report her rape. She doesn't want to go through the legal process of that, but she still doesn't want to carry this rapist baby to term, right? So when you intentionally put language in your exception that states you have to do something that no rape victim wants to do, you're making it so that no rape victim will actually take advantage of the exception.
In those cases, we think those women, those victims deserve better than abortion. So yes, we don't want them to seek abortion because abortion is going to hurt them. It's going to give the death penalty to their child for the crimes of their father.
Sorry, we're going back and forth. I'll think about you for the 10 minutes. But to your point, I mean, Tennessee tried to propose a law in which women who seek abortive care or doctors who perform an abortion get the death penalty. So if a doctor tried to perform an abortion for a woman who was raped and he did that, he could have potentially died if that bill was passed, right? He could have had a life imprisonment, potentially death penalty. That's just unconstitutional, guys. Like, I mean, there's no way to cut that. There's no way to make that look good. But I would love to hear from you, yes.
So I think the example you gave of the woman who was shot in the stomach and I mean, that is just such an obvious example of miscarriage of justice. Like, I think
talk about a miscarriage.
Like, if that was actually,
See how she moved on the conversation without nobody looking it up because they can't really. I understand the situation area. It's wild to hear that, but men, right? This is why you need men in your motherfucking life, women. We gonna hold your feet to the fire because we know y'all pieces of shit and y'all love lying. Y'all love appealing to emotion.
I think if that is actually the details of it, and I claim ignorance on that, I don't know the story, but that would be, I think, a situation we would all agree, like, that is horrific. And the woman went through a shooting and lost her baby, so she should not be prosecuted for it.
She started it. I'm not yelling at you. I understand you just being logical, right? It sounds terrible. Without the context of the situation, yes. You don't want people to go through that. But she started it. She got shot because she started it. You can't just be walking up on people just because you think you big boss horse, and she's black at that. Jones. Bitch, you think you can keep walking up on people. Fuck. Back the fuck up. Hello. You knew you had a baby in your stomach, right? Oh, it was a fetus. And then the fetus and stuff. Fetus don't exist. It's just not born yet. But yet she got charged with manslaughter for putting her baby in that situation and got her baby killed inside her stomach. Okay. But you'll use that as an argument to validate what? Foolish.
Anything like that.
So
I think, of course, these cases of rape, and you brought up the 12-year-old with incest. Now, we know these things happen, but we know that the vast majority of abortions,
Let's talk about it.
and by vast majority I mean like 99%, are done by women who are making the choice to do that because they got themselves pregnant.
Yeah,
and as someone who, I'm a mother of 5, so I know how to get pregnant. Everyone knows how to get pregnant.
Facts.
And when we make the choice to participate in that, then we realize
Keep 'em close.
that we are putting ourselves in the position of pregnancy. I do like what you said about fathers are oftentimes, like you brought up something about fathers, and I really like that you did that, because that I think is oftentimes not talked about. And I myself was in a crisis pregnancy at 17 years old, and all of the focus is on me, and all of it is like, in that it's not expected that he's gonna necessarily have to do anything. And I think you're right, when it comes to pregnancy, women bear the bulk of what it takes to bring a child into the world. We all agree with that, which is why we think women should be protected when they are pregnant and things like that. But I don't see how you framed it was the states imposing on us as women, like myself, when I was 17, found out I was pregnant. The state isn't forcing me to have a child. I got pregnant. And what I see the state's responsibility and the Constitution's is to protect life, protect liberty. So I had the liberty to make a choice before I got pregnant. And now I see the Constitution's framing of protecting life, that would include human beings. And I think that's what we would probably all argue, that the question is, who is one of us? Like, who's included in that? And we would say, well, the fetus should be included in that because the fetus is a human being. It's just at the earliest stages where it's completely dependent on me, of course, but that if I don't interfere with that, and if the state doesn't interfere with that and like force me to have an abortion, that basically we're just allowing the natural process of growth to happen, just like when they're born, now they're an infant, and of course they need care and they need people to take care of them. So the state's responsibility in that is to make sure no one interferes with taking a life. And that's how I would frame it.
No, I mean, I agree with some of what you said. And I just have to say, and we're going to get into this in abortion, it's sexist, racist, and classist, is that, this is a responsibility that is much more this is legislation that almost exclusively impacts women and people with vaginas, right?
Well, I think it impacts both men and women, but I get what you're saying, though, because it does feel like it impacts us more because...
But it impacts men in a good way, because we want the devious guys want you to get an abortion. The bad guy that y'all always say I don't like, I keep fucking, this good to him. Good, bitch, you get an abortion. I'm gonna keep fucking. That's Abba. Mr. Abba. Fucking on these hoes, telling them to get an abortion, although he's the feminist fucking... Bro, what this is, all it is, it benefits men that are degenerate because they don't care about kids. All they want to do is fuck you. So what you do is give them the same men that you claim that you hate, that's a narcissist. It just leads you in the back door of them. If you have that mindset of abortion, right? If you'll find men that like that shit for real, because it doesn't hold them accountable. And the ones that want you to be held accountable, right? And that holds themselves accountable. That is a dutiful husband, a dutiful father. They want you to stop killing your fucking kids because they care.
We carry the children.
Well,
but
yeah,
I do think it affects equally men and women.
Here's the
because I
issue
don't
with
want to
that,
let
though.
men get off the hook.
Well,
and then
it
I also want to
should
say
affect
unborn
men
are men,
equally.
and unborn are boys and girls, and so in that way it affects.
Here's the
men
thing,
and
though.
women
It should affect men equally if men were better fathers. But the fact is, 80% of single-parent households are going to be run by women.
Yeah.
And
no question.
when
Dr.
it
Brown.
comes to forced birth and families that are forced to give birth to a child that they don't want, those families have a higher likelihood of being a single-parent household.
Yeah,
So when it comes to this, like in a perfect world, it should impact men. But the reality is, it does not impact men anywhere near as much as it impacts
Yeah,
me.
and I agree. I mean, I was a single mom with my first daughter, and so I think you're right on that. That's where I think, like, for example,
Here's my thing to that point.
Okay.
Is I think that part of, and nobody 50 years.
I'm trying to get to that fucking part where the lady brings up Margaret Sanger, and she just totally denies her, like she just don't know who the fuck she is, and that's gonna be the end of it, man. I just want to see her get held accountable one more good time, because she lost this debate, she got ate up, and she moved the goalpost plenty of times just to justify her.
How to handle a pregnancy that they maybe didn't plan to do.
And I do want to add, since Dobbs has been overturned, there actually has been an increase in abortion. So these bans don't even work.
And
they're still saving some lives. 200,000 babies have lived, but yes, abortion rates are increasing.
The abortion rates are increasing. So clearly the bans don't work, which, I mean, gets me to the next prompt, which is that I don't think these bans are addressing the real reason why women want to get abortions. And I do think it is about restricting women's bodies, and specifically women. Right? Because it really does impact us more than men. That was my favorite one. That was fun. My last prompt is, abortion bans are sexist, racist, and classist.
See what OG got to say.
Hi, I'm Isabella.
Hi, I'm Taylor.
Hi, and I'm Ann.
Hi, I'm Gina.
I have to say, just throughout this debate, I thought we were going to be screaming at each other much more. See, I'm chill. Can the internet stop?
No, you're not chill. It's just that the others are chill around you. You're using them to make it seem like you're chill. No, you've been a fucking annoying. You've been really annoying, but they responded to your annoyingness very well. That's what it was. Okay, not you.
And get abortions is much higher than the rate of white women. So this legislation impacts us much more directly. And for classist, roughly 42% of women who seek abortive care live below the federal poverty line, right? So that means if you're in a single parent household, you're making $15,000 a year or less.
So
the average cost to raise a child in this country, lowest number is $17,000, right? So if we know that almost half the women who seek abortions literally make less than it costs to raise a child every year, they are being unfairly targeted by these bans. So those are my claims, and if you want to address any one of them, go for it.
I would say that abortion is racist because in 1939, Margaret Sanger started eugenics by trying to eliminate the black race. Children that were Jewish children that were handicapped, black children, she literally targeted the inner cities to obliterate the black race.
I mean, well, like, I don't really know about her specifically.
No. How the fuck you don't know about her? That's the her. That's where you got your whole liberal melted brain from. Your whole ideology is rooted around her. That's the her. Not Margaret Sanger. That's the Margaret Sanger. See how she backing out? Oh, I don't know anything. You do. You do. Stop fucking playing. You know everything else. Right? You lied about the woman being shot in the stomach, right? Not giving full context because you want to play victim, right? Accountability is ass to y'all. You don't believe it. You're a fucking liar.
But I'm talking about
She's
the
the
laws.
founder of Planned Parenthood.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about the laws that currently.
She denied. Doesn't want to change her mindset, doesn't care to. And I just wanted to show you guys what I've seen. That's what I've seen, man. She denies, she lies, cheats, steals. She's a piece of shit. She's a piece of Scheisenhauer. Okay? I want you guys to see that, man. This was the abortion debate. If you still kicked in, man, I'll fuck with y'all. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for being a part of Coach Game. And if you didn't follow already, man. Be a part of this thing, man. Be a part of my growth. All right? Y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all here with me, man. It's Coach Game. Shout out to you.